There has been an invasion. Alien beings from beyond the physical plane have invaded the minds of an unsuspecting human population, influencing them to act on their darkest desires. To fight this intrusion, higher spiritual powers have trained human assets in a meditative technique that allows them to enter the subconscious minds of the affected and eliminate the otherworldly trespassers. These highly skilled psychic assassins are known as MINDRAKERs. But the war has taken a turn for the worse, as one of the most decorated human warriors has betrayed the cause, giving up the names of psychic agents to the enemy, leading to great casualties in the ranks. Now, the traitor lies neutralized in a mysterious coma, leaving her fellow soldier, partner in love and war, confused and alone. His name is Maru, and the weight of existence rests on his shoulders in the simple shape of a six-sided box given to him by God. But he doesn't like to talk about that. MINDRAKER. Background, anger. Chapter 1. Betrayal Vision.
Parallel waves break over the fractured bow, mind and consciousness smashing into a string of dental floss. I make the pies, mud, and cheese, all these thoughts in my head. I don't know anything about pies. I don't like pies. I want to stop making pies, but I'm still making pies. All of the pies are digital, regardless of flavor. I see a man fall over in a power wheelchair. I don't stop and help because I don't want to touch the man. Some other people lift the wheelchair but leave the man on the ground. I laugh about it when the man is out of sight. The gray tides of circumstance, warrior on the ground. A riddle of betrayal, objectives unknown. Something missing, lost or just misplaced. No man left behind, but some wander on the way. Friend, lover, confidant, fellow warrior in the fight. Gone too soon, a fading satellite. Corporeal presence on loan, transient afterimage of summer's last light. I hold her cold hand. Watch the machine pump air into her lungs, vacant eyes unaware. I run a brush through hair, once a golden fleece, now dark and sallow swamp. Michelle, Ma Belle, my girlfriend in a coma. An act of violence penetrates the heart, self-mutilation drum. Ritual footsteps on the sun, flayed skin, love's work undone.
Excuse me, sir. Visiting hours are over.
Driving home, I see a homeless man's junk-filled shopping cart run over in the street. The sky sucks gray humidity, dark clouds of excrement and grief. Throw down your marbles, fucker! Someone yells from the street. There are no angels to herald my exit from the dirty thought bubble. The steps to the apartment are gangrene and phosphorus. Blood and shit, a candy-colored clown you'd call the Sandman. I've still got the box. The thought plays on repeat until the words form a relief tableau across the gray gobbledygook in my head. A courtyard in Egypt, those pretty Fidos bark, the tentative darkness. Still. TV horn blares. Crank it up, crank it up. Delete, delete, backspace, return. There's something I have to do. Echoes linger in the background, soft, gray intruders, phantom rainstorms on a distant horizon, ghosts hovering in the sky, legs spread wide open. Minimalist fear on a fast food diet. Fear the box, fear thyself. Don't think about the box. There's the other thing. The thing you have to do. Fear of the text chime, anticipation migration, superstitious code. The barking dog reads, "Are we doing this thing?" The thing? Not that thing. The box could end the thing. Shut up! No box! Thing! Wicked spirit, paint it green. My love tank is low. I text back, "Where do we meet? I have work in the morning." "You hate that job," comes back. I have to work in the morning. Construction of your dreams. Construction of the lie. The usual, the reply. Not long after, we are seated across from one another at a local Starbucks. Public consumption, corporate cooperation, the profit of human interaction. She is tall and thin, elegant in an unobtrusive sort of way. A cream-colored coat drapes her reaper's frame like a canvas, a slick silver mop on top. Lines fit like puzzle pieces on her face. We call her the spotter. I am the hunter, the soldier. Codename MINDRAKER. She finds the target, I take the shot.
This is the target. Check returned, insufficient funds. Seems Intention wrote an IOU the scanders couldn't cover.
That cough isn't getting any better. Have you seen a doctor?
It's fine. I'll live.
The metaphysics of porn, confection desire, molasses and steam. Crouching hitman waiting in your dreams.
Here are the details.
I foolishly ponder the riddle in her wrinkled hands as she slides a manila envelope across the table.
Wait for the signal.
Home again. Manila envelope stares, the box glares. Blue dream truck, lights on in the shade. Cesspool junkie tell of her crime. Trees on fire, palms red in Van Nuys. I have to get my consciousness into my consciousness. Overactive imagination, Bunsen burner overdrive. I pull a photo and some handwritten information from the envelope. African-American female, age 33, average but attractive, single, never married. Michelle. More information pours out, emails, texts, social media posts, and a curious webcam address. Black mandala, dark subconscious, fear in the weeds, withered, sharp, broken, and sparked. Instagram fiend, love me tweet, book my face, I am, I be, give it to the sea. Book weirdo, mystery tree, lines of demarcation. He quit his favorite cereal and now his hands are full of shame. Inspiration at the cost of truth. Perverted guess, a tale of two streams. A dying curse, death by meme. I set a chair in the middle of the room, place my phone on the table nearby. Vantage point, the eye and the mind. More info, an address. I Google map the location. A pin in the mind's eye. GPS psyche. Remote view to a kill, psychic casting, astral spy, bodhisattva sniper scope. The shadow of Eclipse passes over the land, releasing shadow beings in the minds of the people in its path. Psychic fault lines, seduction thrust schizophrenia, fragmented karma, phantom filth. Wrong minds and right bodies struggling to get out. Spiritual intruders, impure passivity, custom carts, perversion parody, block it out. A message from the wrong house. Pollution in the unified field, collective unconscious smut. Return to sender, extraordinary render. Banal retreat, body dysmorphia, an incandescent sphere. Potato chip daydreams and ambient tears. The text arrives. Target in REM state. Showtime. I cast off my mortal haze, assume the guise of the soldier, prepared to enter the subconscious of another. My mind into the target's, soul to soul, a concentric theater of operations. I sit comfortably in the seat, close my eyes, think the word, think the target. The word becomes the target. Upside down clouds, spirit negated, contact without form, target acquired. Falling up, blackened window, devil's spirit vomit plunge. Broken hedge remembers none. Shattered sparks, daffodils, a quiet stream, placid pills. Mind-fucked broken phone, heavy breathing dial tone. The quiet quills, subconscious strokes across the riddle sun. Beyond the blue jump scare, lovers hate. Resanity, consciously connected, achievement unlocked. Mind in target, target in word. Urinal sponge cake, dilapidated spare. Inner life, the skies turned off. Existential apocalypse, a low and ecliptic stare. I'm in. Deserted street in the mind of another. Michelle, African-American female, age 33. Average but attractive, single, never married. Siren bright, time on mind. Whispering dunes at crushing depths. Desperate apartments leak screaming fits and arguments. Acrylic haze. Gumdrop smile smashed up on the street. Front tooth missing, vacant facade. Purgatory migration on a cold wick. Bring it down and put it back. Take up the cause again. A sudden silence, stillness out of reach. I stop. A form appears in darkness. Desperate ruin from the shadow veil. Michelle. My Michelle. The one I know. Here. Impossibly here.
Michelle?
I step toward her. She steps back. I stop.
She's already dead.
The wrong Michelle becomes the right Michelle. African American female, age 33. Average but attractive. Single. Never married. A condescending vice takes notice. Step away from the causeway with contempt. Blue skies mumble under deep waters. A sully smile, incandescent paw of eclipse. She is here, she is now. The target, the object. A polite stranger smile. She turns to walk away down the street. I follow, trailing like a shadow after shadows. Gentle stalker wears the crown. I watch her enter a cafe, get a coffee, take a seat. The form of a mind is formless, formlessness trapped in form. The shell, material world of form, bars around the cell. I enter the cafe, take a seat at a table across from Michelle. She watches me from the corner of her eye.
Did she send you?
She asks, still side-eyed. I'm looking for her.
She's not here. She's already dead.
Which one are you? A loud disturbance erupts across the room. Two men, large and ambiguous, screaming at each other about caution and fidelity. We watch for a moment, then the ruckus subsides. The two men kiss, hold each other tight. People around them clap. A few shed tears.
What was the question?
I'm looking for someone. Maybe you know her?
You mean the one who's following me?
Possibly. Who is she?
I don't know her name, just a face. But when I look at her, I don't see a face. She told me something.
What was it?
Gupta is mad at me. She wants to throw me out of my apartment.
Why?
Something is wrong with the walls. I can show you.
I'd like that. We finish our coffee in silence. A primordial ooze, vision of its guts. Mankind tastes death and builds a city with rotting walls. Bile in the chakra, pineal rage, remorseless suicide. The streets are hot, burning through our souls. Step fast, step lively. Fleet feet, demons dive. I'm 2 steps behind when she pulls me into the alley. Chain links and dumpster sweat. Listen to the echoes. Time has lost its flavor. Pelvis is thrust. Sweat and meat. Flesh and form. Matter desperation.
You don't belong here.
She pulls me down to the ground. Gravel, dirt, and blood. The regurgitated waft of garbage reminds me of my mission. I hesitate. A push against the pull. She slaps me across the face. Headlights turn in at the other end of the alley and stop. Semi-formed shapes and darkness moving like liquid in space. Blood pours from my nose, hitting my hand. She pushes me off. I feel around in the dark near the dumpster. I stuff the soft part of a crumpled napkin in my gushing nostril. The napkin has no discernible smell, but there is something hard in it. I wipe my hand in the grass and dirt. The headlight specter steps through the glare, moving my way. I run out of the alley, see Michelle at the crosswalk ahead, soul on fire in a meaningless stride. She licks the horizon, a circumspect smile. The dreamer dreams the dream of the other. Self within self, hold on to the word. That grain on the beach, the tide coming in. Up the masochistic steps to her apartment building. I catch the heavy door with my shoulder, Michelle vanishing at the end of the hall. Past the silent doors to the end of the corridor. Which one is hers? Is she up the stairs? Do I knock, call out, or wait? Fear is the byproduct of form and matter, the churning of the butter. The prisoner sweats in his cell. The diver shallows his breath. The door clicks open behind me. Michelle pulls me in by the collar.
Get inside and shut up. If Gupta sees you, we'll both be in trouble.
She waves me to another room. I remove the napkin from my nose, inspect the dried blood, tuck it in my pocket and follow. Something on the floor. The smell repudiates the air. Sickness burns in limbic revolt. Bruising on the ceiling, alchemical coagulation. Sickness casserole chunks in the melting frame. Soul transmutes the swollen sore. Depravity and laughter, the sound of the sucking drain. Spack, 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 up from the guck. I touch it, smell it. Vomit. Michelle's eyes well up. She bites her lip. A loud knock demands attention from the door. Michelle looks, her hands tremble. She jerks on a string of terror.
It's her, Gupta.
Don't answer it.
She has a key.
I walk toward the bathroom, wringing my hands, wipe them on the door frame. I pass the half-open bedroom door. Someone inside, someone in bed. I slip inside, step up to the half-covered figure lying there, draw the sheet back slightly. There she is. One of them. Michelle or Invader? Masquerade puzzle. Mystery door, light or shadow, sleeping or dead. I remember the words she told me when we met. The words of the wrong Michelle, my Michelle. She's already dead. Which one is this? I grab her wrist, checking for a pulse. Cold. The life gone out. The knocking stops in the other room. The jangle of keys, followed by the clack of the lock.
No one's home.
But it's too late. I step out of the room to see Gupta in the doorway. Destruction Cadillac ocelot smile. Exploited female face, oppressive feline body. Sleek black fur, golden lamentations. Gupta sniffs Michelle, then the gut-splat floor. Eyes me nonchalant. Spartan growl steals from its bosom. Slinks to the bedroom, sniffs the body there. Souffle Jezebel, overheated smile when the codes break down. Wailing heat moans, orgasmic in scale. Blood and mush spray, splash, gush. Gupta devours the body. I turn away from the feast, see Michelle on the couch, lost in a dove sleep, halo beam on her face. Deleted, expunged, schizophrenic exorcism, the rites of gore, vacant utterance, the babe in blood. Stalk no more the family business. Grease on the chalkboard, oil on the rug. Gupta steps out of the room, blood-red smile necklaced under accusing eyes. You don't belong here stare, like a black sucker punch. Manifesto breached, dung beetle tax withheld, lies crucified. She's already dead, were her words. Someone has to eat that fire. Collage hand, decoupage heart, say the magic word. Word in mind, mind in word. Gupta takes one last swipe. Soul's gone ghost, a bullet dream, butterfly theme. I open my eyes in the seat. Home, spiritually and physically. The quiet apartment stares back. A text awaits on my phone. How did it go? In nature, nothing fights a forest fire. Take me into the sea so my spirit remembers. I text back. Target terminated. Mission accomplished.
MINDRAKER. Background, anger. Chapter 2. The Field Unmaking.
The dictum of gods, take the keys back. Man is an unkind experiment. The hills are alive with fire. The temperature is in shock. Deadly pace. Nature drowns the bass. And they're out there. Invasion in full force. Shadows in the minds of people. Transparent people from another realm. Swarming flies on the subconscious excrement of creation. A vile murder rite from worlds unseen. Letter from another lover in a dream. Lucid madness, the weight of the jasmine flower. The thought that greets the day, a box in the closet. A thought in the field, a bubble trapped beneath the waves. Don't think about the box mantra, rubber stamp remix, cognitive density, meaning with no meaning. Red marker on coal. A story is still a story. It has to make sense at some point. The pies have to get made, the divining rod of purpose, the turning of the wheel. On my way to work, I think I see a blue-skinned man standing in a crowded intersection. The blue man makes me think of the box, the awful weight of the box. Don't think about blue skin, and whatever you do, don't think about the box. A vengeful distance, safe harbor out of sight. Pity for the hopeful, refugees in the light. Relentless emotion wells up in one eye as I search for signs of betrayal in her empty stare. Michelle, my Michelle. How many times have I asked myself the question, why? Why? Then the word escapes my lips. Why? A traitorous tear makes a break down my cheek for the floor. Then it comes, the impossible sign. Amnesia existence, life's regret. Prisoners of time suffering the quiet laughter of fate. A fool of the mind, betrayed by consequence. Riddled, fucked, nickeled and dimed. A single tear runs down Michelle's cheek. Siamese twins, accomplice to the crime, limbic connection. A thought out of rhyme.
Excuse me, sir. Visiting hours are over.
Nurse, do you see it? Something's happening. A tear. She's crying. Can that be a sign? Should you call a doctor?
Yes, it's common. Irritation or inflammation in the eye can cause tears even in her state. The body's still at work.
I see.
Sorry, sir. Visiting hours?
Of course. I understand. On my way back to my car, I get a text. New target, new mission. The night work. We meet in the same Starbucks. Manila envelope on the table.
Tough case, this one. The invader is driving.
What's he done?
Not sure. What have any of us done?
There was something in there last night. Something strange.
Rattling around in other people's subconscious, I'd think you'd seen a lot of strange things.
Not like this. I think of Michelle's face. My Michelle and the other Michelle's mind. I do see a lot of strange shit.
Well, you brought it up, so clearly you want to tell me. Stop being dramatic and spit it out.
Michelle. I saw Michelle. My Michelle, not the target.
Sloppy. You're getting sloppy. How's your head? Have you got your shit together?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the thing with Michelle, what happened?
What happened is what happens. It's the risk we take. This is war.
I know.
Jesus, you're psychic bleeding all over the target. You're going with your head in the wrong place, and it's going to lead to... You're going to end up like her, brain dead and soulless, lost in some other realm. Their realm. Prisoner of war. Beyond our reach.
I know, I'm fine. You can count on me. I just mentioned it because it seemed like something else. But I'm sure you're right. It's just me. I'll meditate, get myself centered. Don't worry.
See that you do, but I'm still going to have to write a report. You understand?
Sure. Do what you have to. The spotter places a manila envelope on the table and departs with an unsympathetic good luck. I drink my coffee slowly, fingers tracing the edge of the envelope. Attention, comprehension, adherence to form. Then the weight of apprehension, a sodomistic parlance, atmospheric presence. A mood sets in. My eyes meet hers across the room. Michelle, the other Michelle. African-American female, age 33. Expression bathed in recognition, guilty verdict in her gaze. The woman in the stars, the dragon's deceiver, terror in a mystery box. I turn my eyes away. A shadow is nothing more than the absence of light, a space between closing your eyes and dreaming, material and eternal. I take the manila envelope and walk out. I can feel Michelle's eyes follow. I recognize the figure standing near my car. Seminal angst of the tax collector dues, spiritual audit in the red, bleak recollection of the man in blue. The subtle indignity of the soldier's mouth, broken murder bone, inverted tear. I step up to the driver's side door.
I haven't made a decision yet. You keep asking isn't going to make it any faster.
White teeth spread between blue lips, familiar smile hiding in the shadow of a black hoodie.
No, I'm not here for that. This is simply a wellness check.
Christ, that was fast.
She's concerned about your mental well-being.
Everything's fine.
Can I ride?
Do I really have a choice?
So, Morrow, this image of Michelle you told the spotter about, what does it mean?
What do you mean, what does it mean? Is that sarcasm? You know as well as I what it means.
Perhaps it does, but I would like to hear what you truly think it means. If you told the spotter, then you must have had a reason to believe there was something more than your own psychic impression bleeding into the consciousness of the target.
Look, I guess at the time I was thinking, hoping, it might be some kind of call for help, a distress signal, that maybe she's out there somewhere, calling out. But I see that it's just my own wishful thinking.
I've looked, Morrow. Searched and found nothing.
I know.
There was an infiltration.
I know, you don't have to go over it again.
I don't want to see the same happen with you.
Just tell me, did she do it because of the invader, or was it already happening? Is it why she was vulnerable?
Impossible for me to say. You have as much information as I do. But I know the answer that you seek, so I am going to say yes.
That's not comforting.
Existence offers little comfort, Morrow. It is but a fleeting desire.
We drive in silence. Then my blue passenger takes a small green shoot from his pocket. It grows, sprouting thick roots on one end. Blue fingers rub the root tips. They ignite, then smolder, shimmering smoke in a slow motion dance.
Would you like some?
No thanks.
Blue lips inhale from the root. Hold. Silence. Driving. Exhale. A single point of light in the whole of creation. A pillow haze dizzies the air. Planets spin, galaxy spins, the universe spins. We all spin around the flaming fingertip of God. Second-hand baptism, a grinning nose fire, immortal decoder, time-space hack, subtle properties revealed. I'm a little boy in a wide open field beneath an eclipse-swallowed sky, crescent smile of the invaders laughing. A great and terrifying figure strides over me, sword of galaxies in hand. Shadow men swarm to him, beset by madness and frenzy, smothering his light. Mighty jaws separate and draw in a deep breath, swallowing all of his attackers. A thunderbolt arm hurls the sword of stars into the heart of the black sun. The sun screams and the sky falls. Even God is drowned in its violent despair. Then all is darkness, and still I am witness. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light and that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. Sometimes we tell ourselves stories to make sense of the light, Bend the lighthouse from the shore. The ego sees shadows. The heart wants more. Thunder is the echo of positive and negative meeting to form attachment. Man is the sleepwalker. The greatest enemy of the soul is ego. Like one who builds his house on credit until one day the bill comes due. The smoke dissipates and the parking spot at my apartment takes form around me.
Morrow, wake up. We're here.
We enter the tiny apartment.
Where do you keep it?
The box. They always ask about the box.
Does it matter?
It is all that matters, Morrow. There are forces who would have its power for their own.
But there is no other for whom its terrible power will reveal itself. Not even the Supreme Ruler, the universe itself. So what's your worry?
Careful, Morrow. You're starting to sound like one of us.
Sorry. It's just I've heard this speech so many times, it's become ingrained.
Blue eyes raise the question once more.
In the closet, behind the umbrellas.
My ethereal visitor reveals a small box painted half black and half white. Blue gaze admires longingly before placing it on the kitchen counter.
Do you have to do that?
Morrow, how can you hide the greatest honor in the universe under broken umbrellas in a dank closet?
With absolute ease of mind, believe me. Your honor is my burden. I try not to think about it.
But the Lord himself has relinquished his ultimate authority to you. Of all the life in the universe, it is you, Morrow. God by proxy.
The power was given to me for the same reason I keep it hidden in that closet. Can we put it back now? It makes me uncomfortable.
Do you not see his divine wisdom? Only an experiencer of the mortal plane, the physical and spiritual struggle of life, is fit to judge all of creation. You are much more than a mere mortal, Morrow. Do not so easily dismiss your standing as a mighty spiritual warrior. The Lord knows the answers to all that we seek. If he were to pass his judgment, what would be earned from all this suffering?
We? Even your kind?
Even me. Every being in creation seeks the truth.
Then you can understand why I prefer to keep this celestial burden out of sight.
Yes, Morrow. I suppose I can.
The box goes back in the closet. Then he notices the Target envelope, slides out the photo of a man, mid-30s, worried look on his face.
Ah, this was one of mine. Old world contradictions.
I raise an open palm and shake my head no.
Sorry, Morrow. I should go before I corrupt your work. Safe hunting.
Blue fingers produce 2 stones and strike one against the other. The spark ignites a blue inferno that engulfs the figure. The blaze flickers and vanishes, a candle blown out on celestial breath. The room is quiet once again. I study the photo on the table. Carl, white male, 45, medium build, goatee, weak chin, twice divorced. My eyes slide from the photo to the closet. The door's been left half open. I step over to shut it, then I think about what I don't want to. I set the box on the table and study it. Immutable purpose, the shepherd's bribe, king's commandment in Osiris's eye. My mind retraces steps rather forgotten. Box in golden palms, blinding light. The burden thorn, survival suicide. The text chime brings me back. Target acquired, REM state engaged. I return the box and move the pilot seat to the middle of the room. Set the timer. More info, an address, map it. Then my thoughts turn, a terrible and dangerous shift. Michelle, my Michelle, the soldier left behind. I have a picture of us together, shitty laser print, inkjet low, faded memory. I open my desk drawer and take it out. A dangerous thought, threatening knife, one I've fought off many times before. I make the decision, the forbidden play. Honor, duty, war, all of it be damned. Tonight, I choose the target. I have to find her, I have to know. A mission of the heart, target in the soul. Michelle, my Michelle, the only target that matters. I hold the photo as I take the seat, stare at her ghost smile. I think the address, the hospice where she lies. I close my eyes, think the word, think the target. The word becomes the target, and the target the word. The mind becomes the hunter is the mind. Devil's fire, a court of blame, the splitting timber vein of the mind, heaven's suicide. Consciousness burns with Daisy's wrath, flames in the pineal scream. Burning, burning, evermore is burning. Soul in transit, conflagration inverse, broken queen and checkmate scandal. Infinity's guess, drawn and quartered, cries echo across the ether, a game of time and space laughing, the universal smile. Lightning strikes soul to soul, alchemical overdrive. Horus whim, Temenos bribe, crashing down in the closing eye. Hold on to the self, Krishna's grip, touchdown, mind in target, target in word, blue fields in the transient sun. Michelle, my Michelle, I'm in. Tasteless air in nowhere space. Horizon to horizon, open fields, a decadent nothing. No target in sight. Thriving gloom of the Cheshire Crescent painted on the land. Humid breeze lapping, demanding quiet. A dirt road splits the grassy fields. A single line drawn through infinity's pose. Split consciousness, death map exposed. I start walking. Eternal steps in the seamless void, 1,000 yards, 1,000 miles, 1,000 years. Time in consciousness, the conscience of time. Blue bud waiting to bloom, sweet sacrifice and destruction. Lamb's blood and the groom. Something arrives in the distance, pacing my steps. Man, woman, target, shadow self. I step off the road in its direction. Position monument, when the numbers arrive. Keyhole to never. Conscription demon, the baker's lie. Laughter shines on heaven's stairs, a killing tone, familiar scare, cat o' nine tails and daffodil lies. The cutting blade inside the lines. And then it hits my ears. Gutter with the realization, rebirth linking, induction zone. A voice, the laughter. Michelle. My Michelle. Her delicate step at a distant pace. My own becomes desperate, gives way to a run.
Michelle!
I call out her name, voice swallowed by the suffocating grip of the blue expanse. Dependent origination, obliteration church, phantom lies, imperfect perception, the mirage of transgression. Dig me a hole and put me inside. Despite my effort, her unobtainable form remains fixed on the horizon, ever out of reach, then vanishes in a blink of the eye. Dead stop, starving breaths, hold on, stay clear, the self is a handful of water. Slowly center, one step forward, then the next, back to the path, hold on to the way. Near the side of the road, something new, the crescent maw reflecting loose dirt. Esoteric blight on the pristine ocean. Disturbance in the field. Something whispered underneath. Breath drawn back. Fingers smash the soil, scrape out the earth, open up the wound, peel back the surface. Revelation terror. Pay dirt reduction features in the soil. Scrape out the target. Target in earth. The burial mound shadow. Light through a black hole. Michelle. Not my Michelle, but the other one. Former target. African-American female, age 33. Average but attractive. Single. Never married. Subconscious coup. Condition critical. The shadow in the driver's seat. Self will override. Rogue nation on its feet. Suicide, blaspheme, aversion, terrify. I stand up from the shallow grave and look out on the field. Realization earning. Truth not satisfied. Another defection in the terrain captures my eye. Dull gloom deception. The groom at the reception. Then another and another. Revelation torn asunder. Graves. A field of shallow graves as far as the eye can see. The sacrificial self, Horus murder plot. The one, the target. But who are the many? Psychic killing field. Impossibility were it not. Fabrication destination, halo rocket shot on the bent back ocean. Blue fugue state.
She's already dead.
The words sting my ears. I spin to find her curled up on one of the graves, coddling the infant soil. Michelle, my Michelle. Here, finally here. A burgeoning sickness dressed up like a Saturday. I run to her and drop, tasting nothing but soil. She's gone. Gone again. Always gone. A mist that burns away in the morning sun.
No!
I jam my fingers into the loose dirt and dig. Rotting desperation, festering dementia. All flavors of madness, epoxy of fear. Features appear at my raging fingertips. Mannequin plastic, familiar yet obscure. A sculpture of dementia, the contour of despair. A face, my own face. A stranger in the ground, lifeless, without color, no fucks left to give. Calculation implausible, the snare of defeat. Subtext retracted, solificatio redacted. Then a beacon appears in the distance. Siren song on the vanishing point. Flashing lights down the solitary line. I watch as a motorcycle cop pulls up to the side of the road, removes his helmet, swings off the bike, siren goes silent. Testosterone pump, an animal gate stalks toward me.
You're trespassing on private property, sir. I'll need to see some ID.
Sorry, officer, I'm on foot. No license.
You don't look familiar to me. You from around here?
Aerial phenomenon, thunderquake in tow. Two figures, one shadow on the land.
Just passing through.
I see the officer's eyes staring at the body in the dirt. His hand reaches for his holster. Wrong place, wrong time, sight out of mind. I raise my hand to the cop's temple, forefinger pointed, thumb up, cowboys and Indian style. My thumb drops. Explosive convulsion, spiritual expulsion, psychic bullet through metaphysical matter. The limp bag officer drops to the dirt. Gray matter spray covers the soil. Quiet, the silence of God. Non-existence, no self. Antithesis, persona on strike. The key turns in the lock, a rumbling in the soil. Shadow men begin to rise up from the shallow graves that surround me. The other self, the phantom form. This is not the target. This is not Michelle. This is a trap. Woken man from the twilight dream. The fish on a hook. Abducted, subtracted, false psyche. Hostage lot. Bedtime story, goodnight dream. Please don't tell mother. A scream with no end, shiver and doubt. We won't be home tonight. The twisting knot of the hangman's noose. Hundreds of them, thousands. As far as the eye can see, waves roll across a black sea of soldiers. The suffering darkness, suffocating clouds. The stars burnt out. I turn to run, but they are all around me. The air ignites, a phosphorus flare. Gun sounds at hidden depths, a twinning charm. Flames burn away, leaving a familiar blue form.
To me, Morrow.
Remorse of the benevolent god. 7 birds on a wire, mystery under the sea, the immortal prize, juxtaposition of the death posture, a Calvary of none. Blue fingers flip a small charcoal cube into his violent red mouth. Ancient teeth begin to chew. Fire sparks. Fates divide. He opens his hands and a golden seed sprouts forth from each blue-pressed palm, clenches his fists and slams them together, then slides them apart. The thick Hollywood staff grows between them. Rod thrusts forward on a steely step. He swings the staff, its glorious path sucking up the shadow forms, cosmic dust to bills come due. My rescuer's free arm pushes me back. Blue lips spit the moist charcoal lump onto my shirt. Time slows down, mind in a bubble. Eschew the darkness, charcoal ember ignites, blue flames laughing as they swallow my body. Final sight, golden rod shattering. Prisoners released, blue form flailing beneath the black heart curtain of the ego horde. Flames burn away, then the chair, the room, no word, no target, grip abandoned. I collapse to the floor, prankster fumes with their hands around my throat. Bail for the ferryman, sacrificial gods. After ego, the dying branch, prisoner of the big game theory, fished off course. But how? The usual text waits on my phone. How did it go?
Mindraker. Background. Anger. Chapter 3. Transgression. Recall.
Impending predilection, the demon seed, blue flames and crimson sacrifice, fear transcendent, canary in the coal mine, mind-fucked blues. Invigorating madness, the needle and thread, mind's eye imparts the sacrificial mound. The question looms on the text screen as always at mission's end. How did it go? I spend the day in bed, restless and tongue-tied in thought. The text screen looms in violent remorse, unanswered, unprayed. It did not go well, not well at all. Hermes, psychopomp, transfigured doom, the mind and its shadows, fear lurks and broods. We need to meet, I text back finally. Indigenous poison, a dark landscape on the moon, transformation of the mind, a valuable heirloom, sight into the other, trespassers in your room. Dialectic audio, a tin pan beat, one soul balanced on the fingertip of another. This day form reality, 2 streams form a river. I call out to work the next morning, sickened imperial, heart stopped on the mind. This is my glorious pleasure. The first half of the day is spent wrapped up in the deceitful comfort of bed, the solace of the grave. Time cocoon spinning, meaning transformed, dreams of dreadful discomfort and hostage remorse. In the waning afternoon, I force myself up, balancing on twisted stomach, shower myself, turn over my clothes, gather my keys. Michelle, my Michelle. I must see her just to know she's still there after sucking in the disfigured facade of her prison bars. The trap, hideous murder machine, black eye soul on fire. I sign in at the nurse's station, make the pensive walk to her room. As I reach the door, my feet betray me, releasing me to gravity's whim. Deep breath sacrifice, gasping at the moon. The turnover at dawn, diver in the black bell. Compression, recession, the tax collector heart, protection racket, widow's bloom. Up to my feet. Steady my breath. Eyes settle on Michelle, my Michelle. Still here, still breathing machine breaths, unkind copper, artificial mark. I turn and retrace my steps back to the car, cowardice on blast, the terror of my impotent shadow sucking down my failure, gagging on the sun, Black Moon tyrant, hero not. Then the text chime sings, let's meet. Tenuous remuneration, manifesto beat, the chimes at midnight, a repetitive gun, safety lock on. At our usual table, I find another face waiting in the standard attire, armed with the familiar manila envelope.
Where's Elaine?
Nice to meet you. Name's Andre. I've been assigned to your case.
What happened to Elaine?
I regret to inform you that your previous target manager has expired.
Expired? As in what? Her time is up? Past her due date? What's expired?
She's dead.
Oh. A war?
Cancer. Lung, to be specific.
Jesus, she told me she was fine.
She wasn't.
Is there a funeral? Memorial? Anything?
She was cremated immediately. No immediate family, her request.
Damn.
My condolences. However, we do need to get down to business. I'll be providing you with the targets from here forward.
Of course.
You indicated in your text that there might have been some irregularities with your last mission.
Yes, irregularities.
And what was the nature of the irregularity? Were you able to make contact with the target?
No, it's hard to explain.
In her last report, your former spotter noted that you reported phenomena that might indicate your own psychological state might be in question. Could these irregularities be related to this issue?
No, I don't think so. They pulled me off course, away from the target to somewhere else. Some kind of trap.
How did you get out?
The field agent extracted me.
And what happened to him?
I was hoping you'd have that answer.
We didn't know he was involved.
He was still in there when I came out.
I see. Is there anything else we need to know? Any other irregularities?
Michelle, my Michelle.
No, nothing.
Okay, I'll file the report and the appropriate agency will conduct an investigation.
He slides the familiar manila envelope across the table.
Same target. We need to get in.
Seriously?
War doesn't stop because of one battle.
But I told you it was an ambush. What makes you think it won't happen again?
This time, you'll be ready.
Right.
Happy hunting.
Andre leaves. I sit with my coffee. The spinning gullet, hard maker of the heart, masquerade disco, unquenchable lifetimes in solitary confinement, the ugly marker of time served. The question was simple. If we asked, would you serve? Eternity's gape, justice absurd, rampage hammer, undo the lock. I feel the stare, turn to catch her eyes with mine. Michelle, African-American female, single, never married, watching from across the room. A coward's stripe follows me out the nearest exit. Home, manila envelope on the table, a gushing crescendo, Satan's spiral, Lucifer on the moon, gutter call and diaper's wound. I wait for the text, open the envelope, slide out the packet. Carl, white male, 45, medium build, goatee, weak chin, single, twice divorced. Sometimes I hear them laughing. At this moment I certainly do. Indecent echoes of man's own dark nature come to life. A litter of God-hating angels feeding on the plump teat of eternity's breast. A pale slice of frozen time, medium's end, the bottom of the river. Broken frame, the wizard's snow, the soldier's dream, forgotten undertow. In the beginning there was darkness, and the darkness had teeth, and God said, run them all down with your knife. Eat the flesh of the light. Turn the ignition in my heat, Set the cosmos free. Fuck it, destroy it. Self-mutilation come. Eternal damnation for all and all for one. I push the envelope and the papers to the floor. Shut off my phone. No signal, no go. Mission abort. The box steps up in consciousness. You could end this, I tell myself. End it all. Save it all. The cost is just a choice. Occult psychology, meaning broken down. Souls on souls in the ego burial mound. Insincere progression. God's judgment on the mount. A bleeding heartbeat. Time is a rapist of the mind. Penance reserved for a mouthful of dust. I sit in the coffee shop, alone. No spotter, no mission. Blind to the catacombs, deaf to transmission. A pin drop in my heart. Cynicism, a witticism. Fools joke by decree. Burn this sorry chasm. Freedom is not for free. A wilderness scourge. Baby's laughter in the moonlight. A voice creeps up in the air.
Don't I know you?
Vanity's purpose, the soul on strike. Michelle, the other one, is here. Beyond time's arrow lies the memory of a target, pure and said and done.
I don't think we've met.
No, we've met. I'm sure of it. Can I sit?
I nod. She does. Our eyes connect. The silent passivity of the moon's orbit in the planet's urging grasp, beyond the where and what for.
Where's your friend? The strange woman in the coat I always see you with.
Vacation. Much needed.
All we have in this world is what we can give each other.
Excuse me?
You said that.
I did?
Yes, in a dream. That's where I know you. From my dream.
That would explain it then. I save all my best lines for dream appearances.
I am not a book. When the bottom drops out and the seas arise, remember the name that I told you. The knocking at the door is ceaseless. Don't break the answers.
Man is the sleeping god in the heart of the living. I have to get inside the rainbow. When I sleep, my heart is awake. These thoughts came from you in a dream.
You want to get out of here?
Boulevard on a bent light square. We walk together. Our dialogue flows like a script. Deja vu paradox, unkill the desire. Let the words spill out. Evermore we burn reality's edge with a punchline of truth. Two pools of consciousness coalesce, the great river of mind. Unified field connectivity, borrowers short on time.
It wasn't a dream. To be technical, it was your subconscious. But there was a problem, and I have to apologize. I let personal issues make me sloppy with my work, and I left a psychic impression on your mind.
How would you describe the look on my face right now? Incredulous? Because it should be. But somehow, everything you're saying makes perfect sense to me.
It will for a time, but at some point it'll fall apart the way dreams do, shortly after you wake.
What is this work you do? Why were you in my mind?
It's complicated. A riddle with no rhyme. There's a war raging. Invaders have entered our psychic plane. I'm a soldier, a hunter. I work for an organization that finds these trespassers, and it's my job to root them out. They call what I do mindraking.
And one of those things was in my mind.
It was.
Did you destroy it?
Actually, you didn't need any help from me. It was no match for your own primitive drive. It met an ugly end at the teeth of your id.
I have been known to bite. How did you come to fight in this war?
That's kind of hard to explain. My recollection's not unlike your memories of my visit to your subconscious, but I'll do my best. I survived a series of horrifying events, any one of which would change a person forever. I was in a plane crash, pilot suicide. He took 129 passengers to their deaths with him. There was one survivor, me. Not long after I was caught up in a hostage crisis, I was held with 13 others for 21 hours by religious extremists in a Best Buy. I escaped through a side door at some point. I killed a girl. These experiences were a direct result of persons under the negative influence of beings from another realm. An alien invasion conducted not through physical warfare, but by means of psychic infiltration. I learned of this invisible conflict when I was drafted by higher spiritual powers to fight against it. This metaphysical army trained me in a technique of subconscious transference, and I began a feverish war campaign. I was a hero on many occasions, decorated for valor. Maybe in part because of my outstanding service, I'm not really sure. But the Creator God appeared to me and transferred the authority of His judgment of creation to me.
Judgment. Like the line on the left and the right judgment.
The very one.
But how? How do you make that judgment?
As simplistic as it sounds, He gave me a box.
A box. What do you do with the box?
It's easier if I show you. This is my place. Would you like to come up?
After you, white savior.
Once inside, she grabs me and pushes me against the door. Her lips grab hold, the shock of another tongue on mine. Instant replay of the moment in her mind. A caustic alleyway lost in the ether. Improbable possibility. Fuck the noise in our heads. Semi-formed suicide. Constellation stairway to an alabaster end. Mutually assured annihilation. The answer without demonstration. The text devolves, making peace in the sleeper's dream. Where did the words come from? They've escaped me now. Underground railroad, canonical thought. 2 stars in the night sky. Electronic flatulation. Distortion field signify. Error message. Delete. Return. Reply. Disintegration in mainstream time. She pulls away. Wry smile paints her facade. I bury my face in my hands. A consensus of nothing. She places a hand on my shoulder, compassionate yet disbelieving. To die in the consciousness of another, to save the petals on a rose. What price is anything when everything is the price? This is the reason there is no reason. The shadow of eternity looms. A voyeur of suffering, dirty old man with his hands down his pants. Freedom key, monumental mentality, a life in prison, hostage without reason. The punishment without a cause, benevolent dictatorship of dreams that never end. Stark poetry, beautiful yet meaningless. Sentiment without form.
You gonna show me this magic box or what?
I step to the closet, retrieve the box. She looks it over. Lithe fingers lay, metallic hum swoons.
What does it do?
I place my forefingers into the small grooves on either side. If I draw my fingers apart, the mechanism opens up. This is the death posture, a judgment of unworthy on mankind. Armageddon follows, the end of days and the heartbeat's time. I slide the 2 sides back together, reforming the cube. If I turn each hand in the opposite direction, clockwise and counter, the sides turn with them, splitting the cube. This is the redemption arc, a worthy verdict. 1,000 years of peace, humankind will go on. I reform the cube. And there's one more choice. In His infinite wisdom, God installed an opt-out switch. If I push my fingers into the cube, The device collapses in on itself, erasing both myself and it from reality, relinquishing my role as judge and transferring jurisdiction back to its rightful master.
I pull my fingers out and release the controls, shutting down the device.
Would you like to hold it?
I notice the pale look of stark terror in her face. She shakes her head no.
It's perfectly safe, don't worry. It only responds to me. To anyone else, it's just a box.
No, that's fine. Can you put it away, please?
Of course.
The divining rod of action, lightning on the mesa. Turn the wheel, spin it harder, break the will of the fearful. Her hands are on my cheeks, holding my face to hers. She looks into my eyes, gleaning the soul beyond. Then kisses me hard, the last stand at eternity's gate. The passion of fear, straddling a lust for death, and the craving of redemption.
I shouldn't. It's not right.
I decide what's right for me. No one else.
Bender of quantum fate, he comes like a dream. Phantom cosmos, remember well the plug-in consciousness. Burnt cinder and ashes forgotten. Spells remembered. Capture a thought bubble in a butterfly net. Culture of disgrace. Framework reignited. Systemic firefight. And then we're melting. Two souls disintegrating into one. Flesh to flesh. Desperation catacomb. The survival instinct. A moment of clarity. Subconscious motivations wrapped up in a tomb. Death's hand laughing. Open palm to smash the fly lens. What price survival? Images incomplete. Will to survive is the prime number. The specter of guilt assails me.
How will you judge us? How will we be judged?
I don't answer. For the first time since her time, Michelle's time, my Michelle, I let go. A synthesis of chaos, deeper the well goes. To what sense this madness? A tourniquet of desires let out on a string, spinning in decaying orbits, gravity smashing celestial objects together with malice and glee. A pitiful freedom, all I hold dear. Disarray and abandon, chaos theory grinding, sweet nectar of the traitor's blood, the irony of completion in the incomplete act. Let those wounds bleed out the bad blood, let the flowers bloom in the dark field of the soul. And I hold on for dear life. Ghost forms in the morning light, shimmering. Resonant mortality, passivity reprised. Eyes closed, awake. I feel her body next to mine, soft glowing ember. Negation of despair, a handful of ashes, the weight of her sleeping breath. I slide my hand onto her thigh, eyes open to the burlesque rays teasing on the ceiling above. Shadows dance between the light, falling like snowflakes into emptiness. A wealthy desire, peace in knowing, fear of doubt, elusive answer always just out of reach. A solemn moment, a satisfaction in the whole, fleeting, only fleeting, a dog's laughter in the cold. Subconscious subterfuge, the danger of the knife. I turn to look at her, my eyes met by a shock of alabaster skin. Fingers greet the familiar contour of the spine, recognition in a fetal braille, blonde spools of thick golden hair, aurora in the morning haze. A sight impossible, vision of what cannot be. Fear swallows my throat, twisting knots of my gut, lungs run around on an atheist desert. How can it be? Michelle Mabel, here. Impossibly here.
MINDRAKER. Background, anger. Chapter 4. Desperation House.
Fractal division of time. The jury out of space. Reckoning what shouldn't be is. The effort to avoid reduced to consciousness. the apex sin. A discourse of angels, to thine earth be bound. There are two of everything, two universes transposed over one another, the same sadistic specter of death looming over both. Where does the story begin? At the beginning? At the end? Or is everything just the middle? The strings of attachment, a nullified brush, tethered bonds in the coil, space and happenstance, the inside joke. Speak to me. Speak to me. And then she is here, impossibly here. Michelle, my Michelle, lying in the bed next to me where just last night the other Michelle lay. What tragedy and comedy, the improbable will of fate whose hammer of consequence bears no remorse. The sound is stuck in my throat, her name frozen in time. I touch her hair to prove her authenticity. The blonde locks remain, the sweet scent drifting up on familiar waves. For the first time, I am afraid of her. Michelle. Her body stirs, an echo shaded by mind. 2 steps of the infant recoil, bloodied lip, incandescent wine. Slowly she rolls over to face me. Sleepy eyes, reluctant slits penetrating my soul, stripping me bare. There's a quiver in my throat, aching gasp, a vulnerable target.
Maru? Is that you? The life has come back to your face.
I take her in my arms, hold her tight. Tears well, meaty fists shaking my heart. Hold on for dear life, waiting for the mirage to fade in the heat of the angry sun. Rock her gently, enveloping her in my shadow frame, wrapped up in her intoxicating smell. She grasps me back, a desperation well as deep as the longing for meaning in life. 2 souls clinging to a buoy in the hard gray middle of a meaningless ocean, cruel and dangerous, the bruising blade with a smile on its face.
But how are you here? The hospice. Nobody told me.
Yesterday, early in the evening, I woke up, as if from a dream. I remember it all, lying in the bed for what seemed like an eternity. Seeing, hearing everything around me, but trapped in the shell of my body, screaming out in my mind until I couldn't scream anymore. I was there listening every time you visited me. And when I woke, I knew where I wanted to be. Here. By your side.
But why didn't you wake me?
Something in my eyes betrays me. I feel it when it happens. I see her read it, reflexive recoil, combination burnt. I wasn't alone last night. Michelle, the other one, African-American, single, never married. Where did she go?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even think.
No, it's okay. I didn't mean...
You were alone, so I thought I should have waited.
No, I'm so glad you didn't. Please.
I should go.
Please stay. This is the miracle I've prayed for.
No, I understand it was silly of me to expect you to wait.
She stands up from the bed, my guts splash, killing my heart with dirty hands, wringing the soul, sucking the tension from the muscle tissue. I can't lose her, not again. Not like this, not over such a simple thing, such a simple, stupid fucking thing.
You're here now. That's all that matters.
I have to go. People must be looking for me. I have to contact the agency. I shouldn't have come.
Michelle, wait!
Too many notes of nothing stained. More time to reconsider. The meaning pulls away, taking everything in its wake. Too late. Come back, don't steal your Helena's kiss. A smoldering circle, a universe wrapped up in soul. I reach the street, no sign of her anywhere, vanished. Deep breaths, swallow, car keys in my pocket. My anxious pursuit is cut short on realization. My step quickly hobbled. My car, still parked at the coffee shop from last night. I remember the walk home with Michelle, the other one. I pick up my phone from the table, open it to find the familiar question left over from last night's assignment. How did it go? My fingers fumble at the keys, wrestling autocorrect to respond with an intensity lost in digital transmission.
Michelle woke from her coma.
Then I stare at the words I've typed. Their meaning stares back with sarcastic glee. I swipe the screen off, never sending the message. The hollow bowl, uncertain echo of the sucking fiend. Time rolls out its torture rack as I wait. There is no immediate response. I grab my keys and take a walk to pick up my car. I arrive at the coffee shop parking lot, check the car, still there, thankfully. I go inside to grab a double strong latte, shake my reality awake. It's not long before I sense the familiar stare lay heavy on my being. Michelle, the missing Michelle from last night, the other Michelle, the wrong Michelle, watching from a table across the room. I grab my drink, take a deep swallow, caffeine mule kick, dead man's bump, and step up to the empty seat at her table. I mime permission to sit. Request granted, but not without a palpable sense of confusion broadcast on her face.
Good morning. I kind of thought I'd be saying that to you when I woke up this morning, but...
Sorry, I just woke up in the middle of the night, confused and somewhat afraid. I needed to feel the comfort of my own bed.
Of course, I get that. But you could have said goodbye.
It's just that everything made so much sense and then it just didn't. How were you in my head? Was it real?
I warned you this would happen. It was real. But the farther away we move from the experience, the less you'll remember. It loses cohesion, like a dream.
A diamond weed, the bloodline curdles. 2 stakes in a back road bar. Sweet satisfaction of the doomsday clock. 2 seconds to midnight. A fatal cut to the carotid artery and the pornography of optimism in blood-soaked dreams.
You knew. You knew I'd forget. Why did you do it? How could you? Why did you sleep with me? How could you take advantage?
No, it wasn't like that. I mean, I didn't... Look, I'm sorry. It was...
Go. Just go. Get away from me. I don't want to see your face.
I slide my chair back, prepared to leave, but I hesitate, useless apology on my tongue. Michelle stands up from the table and walks briskly across the room and out the door. I'm left alone, staring across the room, exposed and self-conscious in the face of the other customers. Then the vibration of my phone jolts the table. I see the message on the screen. Never received a report on last night's mission. Let's meet. I'm at the meetup now. ETA? I reply. 10 minutes, comes the answer. I take a long, deep throatful of burning coffee. My stomach boils and turns for 10 long minutes hanging from an existential noose of my own making.
Never heard from you last night. I'm assuming trouble again.
Did you know Michelle was awake? She came out of the coma.
I haven't heard anything. When did this happen?
Last night, apparently. She was at my apartment this morning.
At your... She's up and out of the hospice? Are you sure? That seems impossible, frankly.
No one was more shocked than me.
Where is she now? At your place? Control is going to want a full briefing.
No, not with me. She left. I upset her.
Any idea where she went?
No, I don't. She said she was going to contact the agency.
I'll see if we've heard from her when I get back. What about you? Last night?
Trouble again.
Of which variety?
No contact.
Outside interference?
None that I could detect.
Just no signal?
None whatsoever. Complete failure to connect.
Concerning. I filed a report on the ambush. It seems our blue friend is MIA.
Damn.
Try again tonight. Let me know how it goes.
You don't think maybe we should lay low for a while, assess the situation, see if we hear from the blue man?
There's a tragedy waiting on the other side of every day we wait, every day we fail.
I understand, but...
It's an order, soldier.
Right. Sir, yes, sir.
Let me know how it goes.
There is no matter in truth, only the sinner's call for hate, cash up front, poor decisions, and lack of judgment. One bad investment precedes another, the rock sinking like a stone in the fathoms of regret. Animus resolution, the negative juxtaposition of love. A loser's bet, the warrior disarmed. Absolution dismissed. I stare at the goddamn floor as he leaves. Just shut down. A coward's surrender. What the fuck is happening?
I can't come to the phone right now, but if you leave your name and number, I'll be sure to call you back. Pinky promise.
Preparations laid out, mission engaged on imminent thrust. The chair looms in the center of the room, daring the pilot to fly once more on broken wings. I study the dossier as I wait for the text. Carl, white male, 45, medium build, goatee, weak chin, single, twice divorced. Not much more information provided. No emails, no texts, no social media presence whatsoever. Only a familiar webcam address visited on a regular basis. My fingers do the walking. Recognition confirmed. A screenshot of Michelle, the other Michelle, African-American female, age 33, average but attractive, single, never married, dressed in thin lace panties and a cropped t-shirt exposing the bottom curvature of her breasts. A schedule of daily cam times displayed across the screen. An unsettling connection, to say the least. I close out the webcam screen, Google the target's address provided by the spotter. Pacoima. Fucking Pacoima. The text arrives. Target in REM state. I step up to the seat, tremors echoing inside. A slight buckling teases at my steady, acid burning through the lining in my guts. Finally, I sit, close my eyes, think the word, think the target. The word becomes the target. Lift off, ignition takes hold, warping my mind like sleep only sideways. A slow motion dance through existential quicksand and muck. Faces in light, the tunnel unfolds. Adherence to form, relinquished delight, the spinning wheel, the karmic gun, one mind low in the ether, colors in black. Signature emission, slip the bonds of eternity's grasp, freedom of the hopeless man standing on the ledge, then falling into the collective unconscious. I land, transition complete. The blue smile of the eclipsed sun greets me with a sarcastic wit. Dirty streets stand ready to fight. Anger is opposition to form, claustrophobia of the spirit caged in matter, evil's backdoor gateway drug, ruination and vice, strawberry sundaes and heroin dreams. The streets are gray and cluttered with intention. I head to the small block, 7-Eleven on one corner, Jack in the Box on the other, strip mall dysplasia, suburban stagnation, dust and tin. I find the address a few houses in, Dirt and overgrown weeds behind a chain-link fence, bleached earth rot. The house is quiet, stale, paint peeling in the monotonous sun. I hop the fence, step into the empty carport, look in through the side door window. Dark inside, appears to be empty, nobody home. I slide around to the back of the house, dry pool baking in the dirt. Check the windows, no sign of life. I step back to the side door and without hesitation kick it open and slip inside. The house is quiet, wrapped in a blanket of shadows. White walls, light flickers and streams, unkempt, cluttered, and decorated with cigarette butts. Stacks of books and paper, boxes of useless junk masquerading in their someday dresses. I cut through the deadly quiet and stagnant humidity as a darkened hall leads me to a bedroom where a half-open door whispers strange thoughts of caution. The room beyond creaks ever so slightly, poisoning the stillness of the air. I slide my fingers over the doorknob and slowly push the door open just enough to see inside. A soft squeal from the door frame announces my transgression. Nothing there for the eyes, but the darkness weighs on the senses. My feet carry me through the doorway, taut and ready to spring. The small space mostly impregnated with bed. Eyes scan from one side to the other, up and down. Movement from the other side of the bed. I step forward to find a small body there, hunched over, head down, a little boy. I speak quietly.
Carl?
He turns his wide, questioning eyes up to me. A feeling of recognition shudders through me as I ask again.
Are you Carl?
I'm not Carl.
Is your dad home? Is your dad's name Carl?
My dad isn't here. He is not Carl.
Okay. What's your name?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Do you live here?
No, I'm just playing hide and seek.
Who are you hiding from?
You.
I'm suddenly stricken with a memory, hazy, familiar yet resistant. Like I've been here before, spoken these words, and the faintest sensation of a conversation with a man, maybe the target, can't be sure. Deja vu by any other name. It's not a sensation I've ever encountered on a mission in the headspace of another. Strange and disconcerting, a superposition of all possible storylines, a handshake with God. Suddenly, someone is here, coming through the same side door I just kicked open. I step back out of the room. A figure stands hooded in shadow in the kitchen just inside the doorway. He jerks, then freezes in place when he sees me. My eyes adjust. I recognize the face behind the shadows. Carl, white male, 45, medium build, goatee, weak chin, single, twice divorced. The target.
What the fuck are you doing in my house?
It's okay, Carl. I'm here to help.
The fuck you mean help? Who are you?
Just a friend.
You ain't my fucking friend. I don't know you. What the fuck is this? You looking for something? Trying to rob me?
No, Carl. Can we talk?
You some kind of crackhead? Get the fuck out of my house, crackhead!
He lunges for something in a drawer. Instinctively, I launch down the hall at him. He comes up with a gun. My hands grip his firearm and push the gun up to face the ceiling. The gun lets off 2 rounds. Asbestos-laden kibble rains down on our heads, powdering us toxic white. I slam my other elbow into his face. The gun comes loose from his grip and falls to the floor as he stumbles back. I lunge forward and drop to the gun, retrieving it. His knee slams into me with unexpected quickness, knocking me off balance and sending me to the floor. He makes a move to come at me again, but stops short as I force my aim up at him.
Now let's just settle down, Carl. This isn't necessary.
I pull myself up from the floor, keeping the gun trained on him. His chest heaves, but his breaths are silent.
It's you, isn't it? He told me someone would come. It's you.
Who told you?
Why are you asking me? I'm sure you know full well who he is, probably more so than I do. The Shadow Man who whispers.
Where is he now?
In the driver's seat.
Something changes in his expression, facial muscles reanimating into a stranger tableau, the shape of another personality entirely. Invader revealed. He lunges again, flailing and mad. I fire. The bullet hits, but it doesn't stop his weight from slamming into me and taking me to the floor with him. Gripping for stability, I feel the empty space in my grasp. The gun has come free. Limbs thrash, striking me and threatening my equilibrium. I fall back on my own weight, escaping their vicious radius and spring to my feet. The gunmetal flash in my face, an unwelcome surprise. He has the drop. I barely hear the explosion before I'm thrown into the void once again.
MINDRAKER. Background Anger. Chapter 5. Conspiracy Garage.
All of these parts create a whole. All of these thoughts create a whole. What is the narrative? Where does the story unfold? The mind is the container of a universe too small. I grasp for air, struggling for breath, reality strangling me in its abusive grip. An exchange of numbers, mind for matter, spirit for wine. Who am I? Where am I? The revelation of emptiness, the threat of non-existence. Then it all comes crashing back in one violent instant. Time, place, identity, subversive regret, the bullet through the shadow soul. Muscles twitch, body jerks, eyes open to double vision and the thunderclap of presence. The oppressive stench of cigarettes takes hostage of my olfactory receptors. The memory floods back. Carl, white male, 45, medium build, goatee, weak chin, single, twice divorced, the gun in his hand, the explosion of fire in my face, the choking on the breath of the material plane. Back in my seat, back here, defeated. Expelled. Mission status, failure. Complete. It's quiet. Breath steady now. Calm returns. Sensibility takes hold. But the disorienting sting of cigarettes still fills my nasal passages with no apparent source. I don't smoke. No guests have smoked here in recent memory. I conclude it must be coming from the hallway outside and let the mystery slide from my awareness. On the table beside me, the customary text asks the question, how did it go? And then I see her face. Michelle, my Michelle. The panic kicks in, the single message on the screen reminding me, taunting me. No voicemail, no text. She hasn't responded since the ugliness of the previous morning.
Hi, this is Michelle. I can't come to the phone right now, but if you leave your name and number, I'll be sure to call you back. Pinky promise.
Rumination, fascination, monolithic spite. The hour in Egypt has passed, a sunken aspiration, a blank canvas of remorse. Without sparing another thought, I gather my keys and wallet, throw on my shoes, scramble down the stairwell to my car and race down the street, fingers pounding the wheel at every obstinate light until I'm in front of her apartment complex. I dial her number from the call box, no reply. Then a shot of luck from the dark. Someone enters the complex. I follow them in and make my way directly to her apartment and knock on the door, gently at first, then louder, my impatience and worry demanding a response. But my demands are ignored. There is no response. A neighbor cracks their door and looks out. I turn away and walk down the hallway, only to return once the spying eye has retreated back into its safety crack. For a while, I simply wait, no more knocking. I stare at my phone, a fault line of arrogance, mumbled contradictions, and meaningless tweets. The screen mocks and sticks out its backlit tongue. Finally, someone comes walking up the hall. A faint recognition greets me in the young woman's smile.
Hi.
Hi.
You're Michelle's friend, right?
Yes, right. We've seen each other before.
In passing. Are you waiting for someone?
Have you seen Michelle around in the last day or so?
Oh, you don't know.
Oh, no, I mean, I know what happened, but she came out of the coma. It's like a miracle.
Oh my god, that's great news. I'm so glad to hear it.
She's already out of the hospital, that's why I'm here. I was checking in to make sure she's okay.
Oh yeah, well, she's not here anymore. Her mother came about a month or so ago and moved all her stuff out. It's been empty ever since.
Oh, right. Well, I guess that would make sense. No one expected... Oh, okay then.
It was good to see you. I hope you find her. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
Blind and useless, I drive the city streets for hours. Here and there, places she would go, places we've been together. It's late, everything closed, and she is a remorseless ghost. A cruel gash, consciousness untouched, let down the bouquet. It's all ashes and gum.
Jesus, man, you okay? You look terrible. Was it the mission again?
I'm fine. Couldn't sleep last night. Did you find anything out about Michelle?
Nothing yet. We sent agents to the hospice, her apartment, her last known place of employment. Nothing. No one's seen or heard from her.
This just doesn't make sense.
You had better prepare yourself to accept the fact that she may have been compromised, soldier. There's a good chance it has something to do with her sudden recovery. We all want the best for her, but...
The thought had already occurred to me.
Sorry you have to endure this, Maru. I know from your files how much she meant to you. It's an ugly war.
Thanks, I guess.
And in war, we have battles. How did the mission go?
I got in this time, but the invader blew me out. Haven't had that feeling in a long time. God, my head is still pounding.
At least you got in. We've decided to go in a different direction with this one. A new target, close associate of the previous target. We suspect they're working together.
On the inside or the outside?
Both, we think. But that's what we want you to find out.
He reaches down into his briefcase and removes the envelope, slides it across the table and under my fingertips.
Good luck.
A combination of thirds. The shrink wrap goes on tight. Actions have two meanings, born in celestial light. What was once never spoken can be silenced no more. Enshrouded in Neverland, two players on the board. Bishop to rook, bishop takes rook. The high quarter, disintegration of time, push back at reality's door. A voice in the doorway, Vanu Maharishi Manu. Celestial navigation and natural law. Shattered pottery on the baker's floor. Reciprocity, monstrosity, Satan's cowl hangs in the melting armoire. Sometimes there's a rhyme in the meaning. Sometimes the words take a twist. A bullet in the parapet. Closed trap, mouth shut. The air stirs dissent. That familiar status. Vacant and cream, loneliness. The liar's forge. Too many don't say I love yous. Just waves crashing on the beach. Eating away at the coastline. Reshaping the sculpture. Recasting the view. Remove my phone from my pocket. See the missed call and voicemail alerts on the screen. Michelle. The other one, African-American, single, never married. A gasp clenches my gut as I open the message and listen.
Hi. I just wanted to call and say I'm sorry about the way I acted. I'm not upset at you, just confused. It's not your fault. You told me you met God. I just wanted to know, what does he look like?
I return the call as fast as my fingers can type out the numbers, but my momentary relief is met with the cold hand of voicemail. I say nothing and click off the line. Despite the straight-to-voicemail result, I feel my breath noticeably lighter, the weight lifted slightly from my chest. I take the manila envelope and slide out the mission docs. Time to get to work. Johnny, Asian male, early 40s, identifying scar on his left cheek, shoulder-length hair with slight graying, twice divorced, 2 felony drug convictions with time served. The target. I gather the information, take the seat and say the word. Consciousness transcends the relative, locks onto the other. 3 fields in 4 dimensions, the missile in mourning, divided, set free. Vimata Mandala, the twisted corpse, samadhi of pain. Divide the relative by the absolute, step through the gate, the abstract manifests. His world fades in around me, my eyes to his mind, psychic sniper, undercover consciousness behind enemy lines. Indivisible light, feet on the ground, the invisible ray. A chain-link fence runs the length of the long street ahead of me. Sun-baked patches of grass and dirt along the shoulder of the road. An empty lot swallows the landscape beyond the fence. Towering skyscrapers shimmer like afterthoughts in the distance, the ghost of some downtown impression trying to be what it should. Gravel and dust grind and spit under my steps as I walk toward a rusted and ramshackle garage on the other side of an intersection up ahead. The heat is cruel and filled with hate. I am exposed on the open road as I approach. No hope for surprise, no chance for the drop. I affect a casual demeanor in my stride. My shadow keeps pace in my peripheral vision, burned into the earth by the blue haze of the partially eclipsed sun. Then something forms in that negative placeholder, a form in 3 dimensions where once were 2. I stop and my eyes adjust to meet my sudden companion. The little boy from the previous mission stares back with large, wanting eyes. Recognition brings a stern realization. My mind has been out of sorts, focus off, my aim untrue. I've become random and sloppy, falling victim to rookie mistakes. Psychic bleeding all over the targets, jeopardizing the work. He is me, a phantom reflection from my own psyche, my inner child given unlicensed autonomy.
Where are you going?
To see a guy?
Is he your friend?
No, we've never met.
Is he a scary guy?
Could be.
Are you afraid?
No.
Why not? What if he kills you?
He can't kill me.
Why not?
He just can't, that's all.
Is he in that scary building?
Not sure. That's what I'm here to find out. I'm gonna need you to get out of here, kid.
But I don't have anywhere to go. You brought me here.
We stop across the street from the garage. I look the kid in the eyes. I feel it again. That feeling like I've been here before. Like I've told myself these same words in this same place before.
Okay then. How about you help me out? How does that sound?
Okay, I guess. What do I do?
I'm going to go over to that building and look around. I need you to stay here and be my lookout in case anybody comes. Think you can do that?
I think so, but what do I do if I see someone coming?
Yell as loud as you can. You a good yeller?
Sure.
Okay then, we need a code word. How about... Incoming! Can you say that? Let me hear you do it.
Incoming!
Great job. Okay. I'm gonna head over to that garage. You stay here and keep a lookout. If someone comes, you yell the code word as loud as you can, then run as fast as you can down this road until you can't see the building anymore. Stay far away from anyone that might come along. They're dangerous. Understand?
Okay.
Remember, incoming!
I move toward the garage, anxious at what I might find. The doors are all locked, lights off inside. I circle around until I come to a window that looks like I can fit through. Inside, I find myself in a cluttered office. It smells of cologne and grease. I step to the door and slowly slide it open to the garage. Empty. No vehicles, no mechanic, no target. I cross the room to another door and look through the window to a larger office on the other side. I turn the knob. It's unlocked. I enter. Paracelsus, the freedom to desire, mother's milk and the division of hate, pins in the map of the grand design, the butterfly pinned to the wall, machinations and playthings, the dark ego feeds it gore. At the back of the room, there's a table strewn with maps, notebooks, and printouts. With each step forward, the foreboding gun pulls the trigger. Intel, research, details not unlike the material provided me to find my targets. The construction of evil, plans made in the dark, a malevolent plot from another realm. Michelle, my Michelle, a photo of her walking in the street, name and information, an address I don't know. Michelle, African American, 35, single, never married, a close-up photo of her face, a screen capture from her webcam. No personal information evident in the material, but clearly they're looking into it. I study the address connected to Michelle, my Michelle. Must remember on the other side.
Incoming! Incoming!
The shrill voice cuts through me, wither and coarse. I write the part, mechanical bloom on the terra facade, consciousness approaching from the east. Through the window, a hot rod of some dark and anxious design approaches on the road. The kid running across the lot toward the building, disobeying my instructions, endangering us both. The guttural growl of the restored Mustang muscles its way into the lot on painted flames and skids to a stop. I am still, watching. The kid taps on the window, gestures to the commotion, then ducks behind a dumpster. A figure rises out of the vehicle, Asian male, early 40s, identifying scar on his left cheek, shoulder-length hair with slight graying, twice divorced, 2 felony drug convictions with time served. Johnny, the target. I duck behind the desk as the drumbeat pounds closer. Hostile ambition, the raving dark, an island of nothing in the spirit's heart. The taste of what is good, the weight of choice, the weight in satisfaction, suffering and muted tones, a universal registry. The slow rolling out of beats, no breath in my lungs. The target steps across the room and out into the garage. The moment strikes like midnight, warning siren on blast. He has their information. He's on the hunt. I have to stop him here and now. This may be my only chance. I know what to do. That foul utterance. A soul-twisting snipe. The only path to freedom from this ever-darkening tunnel of despair. The death mantra. I move forward toward the open door to the garage, and at once the entrance swings open. It's the kid. I see the figure swing back. Light strikes gunmetal in his hand. I'm already mid-stop in the doorway, no time. In the instant I begin to hear the blast from the gun, I make my move. Spontaneous combustion of the soul. Spirit on ejector seat. Synaptic bailout. Emergency escape. I throw my consciousness into my childish self. A flash of tie-dye energy blinds my displaced senses. The image reappears from another angle. I watch my grown-up self crumple to the floor like an empty sock. Then I see him, the target gaining in the doorway, gun muzzle aimed right at me. I speak the word on high-pitched strings, ignite the whirlwind, a spark from the rock, the fist of judgment on vibrato strings.
In solo Ganache!
Non-existence in an instant. The world around me comes apart, an explosion of ethereal dust erupting from the inside out. Reality atomized, ego dispersed. Goodbye to uneven tomorrows. Judgment on a plate of hors d'oeuvres. Before I can even perceive my own identity, I taste the vomit coming up in my throat, the shock of the real, the sickening strike of the now, butcher's blade, fine trimming the eternal. I peel myself off the floor, crawl over to the phone, see the familiar question. How did it go? My breath slows, heaving lungs compress. I send the reply. Mission accomplished. Target terminated. A snap back to forward. Suddenly I see it in my mind. The name, Michelle, an address. What was the address? Focus. Eyes closed. A blind man reaching for clues in the dark. Then I feel it. Fingers on braille in the darkness of memory. I scribble it down. The address. Her address. Michelle. My Michelle. Somehow they found her, and now so have I. The ghost of restitution, spinning desire, desperate forceps, the shadow clinging to form. What is real and what is unreal? How can one reality be true when all reality is only a dream? I'm already on the road as I punch the address into maps, 92312, somewhere near Barstow. Into the night I fly. An empty throat shorn of words in the unconcerned night, blacktop unspools on hypnotic repeat, nature's disregard for the longing it gave, the laughing black smile of the trickster cosmos. The sun is lifting its veil from the cold horizon as I finally near my destination. Dust sweeps the land with its liar's haze, post-mortem conversation with the moon. From the open freeway, I meet a disagreeable dirt road. We trade barbs for a stretch until a home appears at the top of a hill in the distance, a winding discord, the climactic expanse. Closer on, I see black curtainless windows staring back with a dead man's gaze. The lifeless countenance counters my hope. The sinking feeling takes my guts firmly in fist before I even step out of the car. The house is empty, abandoned. I walk slowly to the entrance, looking through the open windows to the decaying shell hiding in the shadows within. The walls mock me with graffiti middle fingers. I push open the front door, barely suspended from its hinges. My feet kick their way through cigarette butts, empty beer cans, and liquor bottles. Finally, in the back of the house, spray painted in crooked black letters across an empty wall, I find the message. She's already dead.
MINDRAKER. Background, anger. Chapter 6. The Reunion Mind.
A synchronicity, echoes of a former life, an anniversary, a sinister memory, cruel and unyielding. Anima, the feeling of regret and feminine longing, the resonant gene and the memory of tomorrow. The incorruptible soul perfectly molded in karma, the inward suffering before God. She's already dead. She's already dead. Words scrawled on the wall in the empty house. A message, Michelle's own words spoken to me behind subconscious lines. Psychic transmission, threatening breath on death metal lungs. No more time for rules of engagement, protocols be damned. I have to take the war directly to the target. Flesh on steel, material stakes. I have the address committed to memory from mission prep. Desperation fuel, stop him in the flesh. End this phantom dance with a final bloody period. The killer within, the killer without. Two faces of the grave, murder in the righteous degree. Desperation gambit, forever hold my peace. Exegesis of one. I drive the pedal to the floorboard, wheels tearing at the blacktop. Heat laps my desperate chariot with suggestive flames. Sun rising in the sky, coordinated tension begging for a fight. There's a sick joke in the air being played by a dangerous comedian. I'm not laughing. I finally arrive at the same gray streets cluttered with intention that I walked in the target's subconscious maw. Carl, white male, 45, medium build, goatee, weak chin, single, twice divorced. I head to the small block, 7-Eleven on one corner, Jack in the Box on the other, strip mall dysplasia, suburban stagnation, dust and tin. I reach over, unlatch the glove box, and remove the small handgun inside. Death mantra and relative permittivity. I find the address a few houses in. Dirt and overgrown weeds behind a chain-link fence. Bleached earth rot, but the house is no more. A burnt-out husk, collapsed on its own shame. Its secret stolen. Resolution denied.
Intelligence confirms the target was found deceased in his home this morning. Coroner's report lists cause of death as stroke brought on by aneurysm. Nice shot.
The spotter draws a fat red X over the face of the target in a photo. Johnny, Asian male, early 40s, identifying scar in his left cheek, shoulder-length hair with slight graying, twice divorced, 2 felony drug convictions with time served, then slips it back into his black dossier. This is mostly for dramatic effect, unnecessary and distasteful to me, the killer of mind. War is human regurgitation.
We received your report that his partner's home has been burned down. We haven't been able to locate him. Until we do, this appears to be a dead case.
And Michelle?
Still nothing. Another cold case. At least for now.
But I told you, they had personal information on both Michelles. They're tracking them. They might already have my Michelle.
Or she may have returned to them. We have to consider that the most likely reason for her disappearance.
No, she wouldn't.
She gave up the identities of 16 of our assets, all of them killed.
I know! You don't have to. I took out the invader. She's clean.
Yes, but then she fell into a coma. We suspect there was something more at play than just a single infiltration. It indicates willing collusion.
We don't know that for sure.
True, but in this war, can we truly know anything for sure? And now let's get back to business. Next target.
He slides a manila envelope across the table.
I think you'll find a great personal interest in this one.
He taps his fingernails on the table, directing me to open the envelope, a perverse sort of enjoyment in his manner. I slide the photo inside halfway out, and my senses scream at what my eyes perceive.
You found him?
Yes. We've tracked him to a small house outside of Barstow, his sister's place. He's been hiding there.
Motherfucker.
I know what you're thinking. Don't drive out there. If you do and he escapes, we'll lose him again. Do it the right way, so he doesn't get away from us again.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm going after him tonight. Execution granted on this one?
Execution demanded.
Hell fucking yes. Thank you.
Be careful. Don't let your personal involvement in this one throw you. I'm off. Happy hunting.
I watch as he throws on his coat and saunters out with a little spring in his step. My eyes sweep the room for the other Michelle, my thoughts inexplicably falling to her in the face of this new revelation. Incongruous intercourse, false promises and hope. Thunder claps my heart to the negative chant of gunfire just outside. Chaos and disbelief, riotous fear. My body rises on reflex, but my muscles betray their oath. I steady myself on the table and stifle their rebellion to move forward. Bodies crowd up to the plate glass window at the front of the store. I push my way to the entrance and step outside. There's a body a few steps into the parking lot, half swallowed in the dark. I recognize the coat. His face is half gone, a vacant embrace. But I recognize the hair. Andre is dead. Payback in the relative field. A message meant for me. I dart back into the door without turning and wait for the lights to arrive. In the flashing confusion, I slip out to my car and speed away. I circle my building twice, scanning for suspicious cause. When I'm convinced the coast is clear, I park in an empty spot far from my designated stall and thrust up the stairs to my apartment. I keep a suitcase packed and ready for emergencies, waste no time taking it down from the top shelf in the closet. Then the thought invades, the question that looms, the answer out of sight. The box. Don't think about the box.
I can end this.
I reach into the closet, take out the box. The metallic hum greets me with an anxious smile. I hold the breath in my lungs against my heart. I sit, place the box on the table in front of me. Broker's meth, the dream variant. Timeless, immemorial, a meaning without meaning, words with no form, disingenuous accusations. Negative quantity, the 5-finger proof, mixed up tours of duty, quantitative ease of the karmic badge. Sleep, let them all sleep the forever sleep of the dark universe, deaf, dumb, and blind to fear. At the height of orgasm, twist the knife of death, birth and annihilation, the dual sword of existence, my judgment scythe, swing it, swing! I place my forefingers into the small grooves in either side of the box and draw my hands apart. The mechanism opens up to form the death posture. Lyrical quality of the demon's thrust. Divide this madness. Shatter the once and for all. Judgment of man's sins poured out on the land. Bring down this wrath. Rage of the substitute god. The overdue bill. Interest accrued. The collections man with an angry heart. I can end this.
I can end this.
I can end this suffering. Not for Michelle, not for myself, but for every living soul covered in sin's black grief. The duality of man, innocence and guilt. Ass end of the cosmic joke.
I must end this.
Crimson coals, the baker's mix. Bread left in the oven far too long. The blackened crust in fate's comical grip. He's sly, that one, always sticking his nose where it don't belong. Her name explodes onto my phone screen, accompanied by the shrill ringtone blues, an anthem of hate distilled into none. Michelle, my Michelle, calling me at last. I shut down the box, stifling the death posture, judgment withheld by matters of the heart. Somewhere God is laughing under his breath, shaking his head and spitting my name. The stale air holds the static beat as I reach for the phone in true desperation.
Hello, Michelle? Michelle, is that you? Speak to me, Michelle. Let me know you're okay. Is someone holding you against your will? I went to a house in the desert.
Shut up!
Michelle, no!
Gone again, a fleeting depth. The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. The heart stops whine in capillary revolt. She's alive. Michelle. My Michelle is alive.
Michelle, don't hang up.
He's asleep. Do it now.
A tower of shadows, clouds stacked up to the sky. What is reality? The streaming gauge of the vacuum cord, smeared black cake. I barely hear life's demands. Confusion and misheard lyrics abound. The target, she's talking about the target Andre gave me before his demise. Somehow she knows. She knows everything. And now she's giving me the signal. I set the chair in the middle of the room, sit down and slide out the contents of the manila envelope. The face stares back, his face, the one Michelle betrayed me for. Caleb Crocker, conspirator, murderer, fiend, age 33, 5'11", 198 pounds, sandy brown hair, blue eyes, once fellow soldier in the war. The enlightenment noose, 3 roads to trust, the connective trap in the lover's soul, orbital resonance, a gauntlet of relative misunderstanding. Close my eyes, think the word, think the target. The word becomes the target. Consciousness arrow pierces the veil. Killer on the march. The world falls in around me, murky and dark. The blue yawn of the eclipsed sun pinpricks the sky, a distant star, faded memory, degraded morals with blacked out intentions. Hazy detail of an indistinguishable city in the distance. No light there, the deserted quiet of eternal rest, an occupied zone of darkness held by the Shadow Army. Is it a trap? Perhaps, but if it is, it's Michelle's trap. My Michelle, the only Michelle that matters. I gladly take the risk. All the diligent proofs of unkind matter, a letter from behind. I start to walk toward the black soot frame when the target appears, walking toward me out of the murky depth, hands up, surrender prone.
Don't shoot. She sent me.
Where is she?
He taps his finger to his temple, yellow smile, lemon twist.
In here.
How?
Consciousness insertion. Just like you.
Which one are you?
Invader free zone, my man. Michelle liberated this country long ago. We operate under our own recognizance.
Then why did they send me?
He shrugs, chewing me with a sarcastic smirk. I quell the death mantra impulse, hold my fist as well.
Good question, mate. You might want to ask next time you're taking kill orders over coffee.
Take me to her.
The shotgun snap, black walls cascading, nominal forfeiture of the moral pass. Goodbye, blue tomorrows. Something dark and glorious hangs on your horizon.
Hey man, I just want to say, look, I know you're mad at me, all right? I get it. But for the record, everything that happened was her idea. It wasn't me.
Walk, don't talk.
Just putting it out there.
An epilogue in sadness, inauthentic resolutions, bad Shakespeare in the park, desolation guns in the mouth of madness, restitution resolution, binary forces in the killing drum, the red letter and a hangman's noose, bed down with the reaper, killer's touch. A criminal enterprise of the soul, the depths of existential plunder. This is my road to Galilee, replete with longing. There are some things you shouldn't see. The sky drops its liquid haste, but there are no clouds in the sky. Bitterness and grease paint, bad words from the past whip the conscious space. The days in bed when you can't get up from the weight of yourself. Through the winding streets, he keeps his mouth shut, death mantra at my fingertips. Finally, we enter a building. Inside, someone is waiting. I recognize his face even in shadow. Carl, white male, 45, medium build, goatee, weak chin, single, twice divorced.
If this is an ambush, gentlemen, I'll just advise I can erase the two of you from existence with one word.
We're just here to talk.
I didn't come to talk.
We know, but she wants to see you. Do you mind if I lead the way?
Lead on.
I follow the two men into an elevator, a single flickering fluorescent jester laughing all the way up. You can see the negative impression of invaders in the darkness of subconscious. They can't hide. When the lights go off, there's no one else here. Just Caleb and Carl. Clean. Just like he said. Amoral tales, absent partner, suffocation break. Filling time in a false life, distraction game, sleight of hand. He cut off his arm to spite his heart. A peculiar disposition, prone to desperation. When she had gone, the carnival barker shut the lights out. Brake lights. Full stop. All at once, my search is over. The shadow in the ether. Michelle. My Michelle. Ma Belle. Mistress in shadow. The recourse of the law. There she is, standing in darkness. Light from the window at her back. The shape of our last meeting recomposed. This is Michelle. My Michelle. And yet another Michelle altogether. One whose very posture indicts. Two Michelles in one form.
Maru, I know you've been looking for me. Well, here I am.
I stepped toward her, shivered with relief, awash in regret.
Michelle.
I met with a hand, repose and regret. Then there's a table between us and a seat in my step.
Please have a seat.
I do as I'm told. Caleb and Carl move around either side of the desk to stand at her flank. She takes a seat behind the desk, facing me with a superior demure.
I'm sorry about my lack of composure last time we met. But let's put that behind us. We have business to discuss.
Why here? Like this?
Because I'm on a mission. One that involves you. And I cannot be at the mercy of attachment and accomplish what I must.
I just want to be with you, Michelle. Just want you back.
That's not going to be possible. Not yet.
What do you want me to do? Anything. Just tell me.
The fumbling fool gives up his ghost. The beggar for consideration, the guillotine in the corner, slicing satisfaction. Disband this destination, fabrication unknown. Factor fantasy, the quarter of the stone. What circumstance this storm? What joke hides in the night? Where does the hangman go when the noose is out of sight? Bend the steel rod, drive it into the earth. Crush the thing you hate. Flesh and bone on bended knee, golden snake in the garden. Taste this devil flesh, I give of thee this earthly state. Time takes a life.
I want you to exercise your full power, Maru.
What do you mean?
The box.
A crushing nerve twitches at the words. Not that. Not you too.
So that's what this has been about all this time?
Always.
But why? Why didn't you come to me?
I did, Maru, on one too many occasions. But you were too wrapped up in your own self-loathing to listen.
I see. Just answer me one thing and your will is mine. You and Caleb were together while you were still sleeping in my bed. You leaked information. People died. Fellow soldiers. Was all of that them? Or was it you all along?
That's not an easy answer. I had thoughts, reservations, outright fear of the box from the beginning. And then the invaders. They showed me things. None of this is as simple as our side makes it when they're passing out orders to kill. It's like there were two of me, one for, one against. The scales of justice balanced on my soul. But when the invader was removed, I understood that everything I was fighting for was a lie. Do you even know how I ended up in that coma? Don't you want to know?
They said there was a trap. The invaders. They ambushed you.
No!
Then...
That friend of yours, the middle management guy, the one with the blue skin, it was him. He did it to me.
Impossible.
Not impossible.
Why?
I realize none of this is easy for you to hear, but you need to know. I decided that you were not worthy of the task God had entrusted to you, too self-involved to pass judgment on anyone, much less all of humanity. So I decided to take it, to hide it away somewhere it would never be found. And I did. But then he came after me. That blue bastard repossessed the box and imprisoned me in my own mind.
Michelle, I'm so sorry. He lied to me.
It doesn't matter at this point. I answered your question. Now we have work to do.
For which solution do you advocate, my love? My will is yours.
The death posture. A judgment of unworthy.
You wish to end mankind, extinguish existence.
I pass this judgment not on mankind, but on God himself.
I don't understand.
I want you to use the power of the box. Your power. The power at your disposal. To punish God for his sins once and for all.
MINDRAKER. Background. Anger. Chapter 7. He who holds the blade.
Light slips the mortal coil. Mankind suffers for slumber. There is no grace in longing, indiscriminate damnation. Beyond you and me, there is a blue horizon, the mirage of desire, ever distant, ever taunting. I saw the face of the one who answers, and he gave me questions, a riddle with no satisfaction, destiny with no end. Suffering on loan, bad connection, dropped call, full body apparition. And God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness.
I cannot be the judge of God.
But he judges you.
He made me.
He made you, and he is you.
It's not within my power. There are 3 settings on the box, predetermined outcomes from which to choose.
Actually, we have a theory on that.
What kind of theory?
We think the power comes from you, not the box.
The box is simply a way to ensure that you only use the power in the way he wanted you to.
Your theory is wrong.
I didn't ask to be created. I didn't ask to be judged. Why do I have to die?
If I did as you ask, if I even had the power at my disposal, you would create a universe without any hope of redemption. A universe without the goal of transcendence would truly be a universe without hope. A universe of eternal suffering.
I don't need God to have meaning in my life. Why do you assume the entire universe does?
Then why not simply judge mankind as worthy? Redeem creation?
Because that lets him off the hook. This isn't about whether mankind is good or bad. I want retribution. I want him to pay for all the suffering he's created.
Non-stop violence, the Eminence Front, a war in heaven leads to blood and dirt. Fallout regime, the meat grinder, murder cycle and the electric chair, everything falling apart, the mask fractured, purveyor of doom. This is the end of cat and mouse, a universe in the shape of a mushroom cloud.
I'll give you some time to think it over, Maru. Let me be your universe. You will see that I'm right.
An inverse engagement, hypnagogic straits, butterfly wings in the killing fields. Michelle and her compatriot Carl vanish in the air. The rain begins to fall outside the window. And I'm here with Caleb, traitor, bastard, object of my hate.
You gotta admit, she's ambitious.
The death mantra screams, blackness consumes. I feel content in my vindictive splendor. Peace as the soul shatters, my consciousness turned inside out, flayed and drawn, the suffering of the executioner. The archetype, primordial image naked and decayed, the beginning and the end, the drifting night. The thing we love the most is the worst thing for us. The thing you love the most will destroy you. The eternal damnation of the soul in the heart, burning desire, the embers of the funeral pyre. There's no attachment you can have that's not attached. Nothing you can love that isn't loved. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love is all you need. Unsympathetic suicide. The bile spills out, the death soup and tears. I take the knife to my own throat, existential razor bleeding with regret. Turn the worm in the sour stone. It makes it hard to listen, the wailing of the damned. Fully entitled, lust for the scam. Lieutenant in the desert, the crow flies upside down. No penance for the ghost, the linear god. I was sick with possession, vacated by murder. Then my eyes beheld the box. The goddamn box.
It's not possible.
Invisible vortex, Baker's Row, 10 steps to the bus stop drill. World torn asunder by God and false God. God without identity, a faceless God without remorse. The stoic void, a life made of stone. Can it be true? I approach my burden, a hole in my step. Take a seat in front of it. All you create and all you destroy. Karma melts in the flames of Shiva's third eye. What cost the invisible truth? 10 eyes out of space, sight of the simmering madness, 2 shades of gray, creator and created. I place my fingers along the edges of the box. It roars to life, the Lion of Judah. I wasn't made for getting old. This betrayal whispers dark secrets to my soul, tales of suicide, stories of peace, bliss and eternal nothing. All we want is peace and happiness. Every living soul, every last one. I could give it to us all with the twist of a digit, a turn of my mind. Michelle suffers to bring on the destruction of meaning. A lie, all of it, every single word. God damn this madness. God damn it all. I heave and nothing comes. Devastation corpse, the smell of treachery. It's only a matter of time before reality breaks you. The winner holds out the longest, but even they fall in the end. Chewed up, swallowed whole, and spit back out again. Anger wells up inside, a raging funeral pyre. Strike the match upon the ocean, the fury spreads wide. For the first time, I feel the energy of the box flow through me, no longer without, the universe inside. Resolution, restitution, integration gun, transmigration of the executioner's blade. Countenance of sorrow, the dual shade of light. I see myself reflected in the water, a flaming sword in my grip. A tree grows up from the ocean, reaching up to the heavens and stretching out across the universe. A heartbeat echoes through reality. The pulse of totality fills my ears. An altar appears, the lamb sprawled on top, neck presented to me for the cut. A shadow passes over, birthed from an unseen sun. The roar of invaders fills the void, drowning the pulse of eternity in their furor and throes, beating the drums of the ego-death. I raise the flaming blade. Behold my might, the hand of God, the unseen, the all-seeing, the end and the beginning, the circle of light and darkness, the destroyer of man and God alike, creation killer. Dishonesty hugs the satin walls, abandoned, left alone without a soul in a universe of denial. Deserted by creation, the savior cast out. Mine is the hand of judgment, the lonely task, solemn burden. Michelle desires for me to turn my judgment away from man and cast it upon God himself, a power now confirmed to rest firmly in my grasp. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? And then the veil of darkness takes over my crown. I stumble to the bed and fall into the arms of the incomplete. Sleep the sleep of the embryo, safe beyond reality's demanding grasp.
Somebody else says it, my friends say it, then it's fine. If I say something, of course, I'm just being hysterical. I'm just going too dramatic, of course. Always. That's all you ever.
I had a dream. Michelle was there, arguing and berating, caught up in a rage of some circumstance I couldn't quite make out. I was standing in the foyer of an unfamiliar home. I could see her arms gesticulate wildly, the pacing, the pointing, but I never saw her face directly. It seemed to be little more than a blur, some impressionist joke at my expense. I have mistaken the effect for the cause. Deleterious aggression, subversion paradigm, an oblique sun in the night sky, heaven with the sky gone out. I am the fool by my own self-made. The numbers agree to collusion, an alliance of necessity born, mutual admiration, sublimation, arbitration, allies with the knives at their backs, entanglement of necessity. The equations manufacture reality, no deception relative to their station, quantum action haunting from a distance, ultimatum decimation, a ransom of hosts. I do the job clean of aspiration. There is no control and obligation. I am a number, random and unequaled, secure in my actions as whole, oblivious to paralyzing delusion, prisoner in my illusion. Numbers cannot lie, totalitarian in their absolute manifestation. My fingers enter value into digital space, writing reality in cuneiform action, absent of passion, function performed, the mind dancing with aspiration, innovation, fulfillment, and gum. But it is only tension, the qualification of illusion, a bit part in the dream of a sleeping giant. I'm at a minimum of virtue, chest bomb sings. I've started smoking again. The text chime scares me back to life, that hideous duty of the Gorgon stare. The message reads, "New target, let's meet." "Where?" I reply. The usual comes back, but they killed Andre there. It's compromised. They won't do anything to you. Fine, tonight. Usual time. Hollow objective, translucent desire. Let pace slow the Reaper man. He is waiting for me among the caffeine and prattle. Familiar countenance, improper shade.
Brown is a new look, but I think I prefer you in blue.
I do not seek to disturb the fragile realities of the other customers. Welcome, Marl. We have important work to do.
A circuitous argument, down by degrees. Raise up the inspiration, moving in a forward direction. There is a word in the darkness of the self-penetrating soul, the suffering barely heard, the tiny voice in the wind. Cause and effect meeting at the watering hole.
Welcome back. We thought you were shadow meat.
It did take a little untangling to get out of that one. What were you thinking? Going into Michelle's consciousness on your own like that?
Lucky for me, you were right there to save me.
You've spoken to Michelle, I take it.
She told me everything. You lied to me. How could you not tell me?
I had to make a choice, Morrow. It was clear she got an idea into her head about that box of yours and she wasn't going to let it go. She was a great warrior. I didn't want to destroy her. She deserves better than that. I thought it best to neutralize her until I could figure out a solution.
You should have told me.
And lose the both of you. This world needs you, Maru. To tell you would have done more bad than good.
Well, your lies solve nothing because now she's back.
Yes. Without my presence on this plane to hold her, the bars of her cell simply faded away.
And your little isolation prank seems to have given her time to figure out her master plan.
Oh? How so?
She wants me to use the box to judge God, as he would judge us.
Such a thing is not possible.
Oh, it is. I've seen it.
Well then, Mara. Mindraker. Judge of man and God alike. You have quite a choice to make.
Brown fingers turn blue as they slide the familiar envelope across the table. Time stills its pitter-patter heart. Our world becomes a bubble in an unassuming space.
Here is the target. Wait for the signal.
And then he is gone, evaporating into the air, a faded dream with an underlying threat, leaving me alone with my duty, alone with the choice. I study the faces of my fellow coffee shop patrons, a tapestry of desire grasping at attachment, caffeine glory hole, blasphemous eyes, and unconscious concern. The turning of the rod, mask of the pharaoh, blood unclean in servitude's rot. We are born alone, we die alone, just like our God and Creator, alone, always alone, a singularity, universe of one. I am slow. It's a violent line towards humanity, an exclusive passivity, depth perception in the quantum field. There is a negative shape to reality. Life is an uncomfortable swim in a depraved river of madness, a fractured countenance, divinity in the light. The weight bears heavy on my weary gait. I sit at the table, lay the envelope in front of me, take out my phone. Missed call from the silent ringer teases me back to the folly of a painting called Normal. Michelle, the other Michelle, the true Michelle, African-American, age 33, average but attractive, single, never married. No message. I tap her number and the ringing tone holds me hostage. No answer. Straight to voicemail.
Hey, you've reached Michelle. Do your thing, and I'll do mine.
Hi, Michelle. This is Maru. Just wanted you to know I got your message. I should have called sooner, but thank you. I'd like to see you sometime if you're open to it. Anyway, give me a call. Hope to hear from you. Bye. The immutable intercourse of time and expectation, a hard-on for completion. Let slip the limbic rhythm, the pulse of impermanence, cruel flavor of desire. It is cold, this place inside of me. Deliverance is a distant star in a vacant sky. Hope plays at the carnival. Lights, camera, action, portray. The harmony of creation and destruction, dharma bullet to the head, collateral and self-inflicted, collective karma, the tide gone out, tidal wave on the horizon. I open a drawer, rummage around to find Michelle's mission packet, scan the information for her webcam address. Beyond meaning and regress sits the gesture of truth, the lie behind the lie. The space between space, the microcosm of desire, permanent lines and a temporary face. I plug in the address and Michelle appears in webcam pixel cream. Sweet nectar of the physical, a symphony in the white noise. She spreads her truth, inserts hope, grinds on expectation. I hold the facade, gripping tightly the shadow mold. Indiscriminate yearning, the bristles in Shiva's brush, connection without correction. The quivering mirage serves a course of phantom heat. Hands hold the counterfeit longing, penetration of industrial hope. Then a figure appears behind her, Michelle lost and unaware, my senses confused and disconnected, cause and effect, mind's eye blinded in the ether. It's a man. His hands come from behind, some sort of cable in his grip. He wraps it around Michelle's throat. Her eyes bulge, face turning red, legs kick, the camera tips violently, arms flail, reaching out for meaning. I shoot up from my seat, shaking my screen. No! No! Her body slows, involuntary struggles as the life drains out. Then the face comes into view.
Carl, white male, 45, medium build, goatee, weak chin, single, twice divorced. My fingers burn 911 as I race out the door. I scream to the operator as I stumble down the steps, stifling the pain as I leap into the steel carriage and squeal down the streets to Michelle's address. A murderous rage turns in on myself. Carl, goatee, weak chin. I should have killed him when I had the chance. The police are already there when I arrive. Several units. Their vehicle doors left open. Curbside hope abandoned. A lump in my throat strangles my breath. Another car pulls up, glides to a stop alongside the others. The officers remain inside, a painful lack of urgency. I step out onto the sidewalk, my feet arguing with each step toward the inevitable. A baritone wail lashes out at me. I turn to set my eyes on the sound. A car parked across the street behind me, a smile surrounded by a familiar goatee stabs back. Carl sits behind the wheel, tangible and gloating.
She's already dead.
A storm of impotent fury riles me inside as I watch him pull away. The urge to follow deserts me. My throat runs dry. My heart skips one beat, then another, then punches me inside. I throw myself forward at the dilatory officer's vehicle.
Officer, that's him! It's him! Stop that car!
Seeing me coming, one of them steps out, hand on his gun grip, the other held out toward me.
Hold it right there, buddy. Don't come any closer. Hands in the air where I can see him.
Officer, that car, it's him! I saw him attack her!
I said stop.
But...
You got some ID?
Officer, the car!
ID.
In my back pocket. He reaches in and takes my wallet, steps back and takes out my ID.
Maru. You don't look like a Maru. What kind of name's that?
He's getting away!
Who?
The guy in the car that just drove past you. He's the one that did it!
Did what?
There was an attack. I saw it on her webcam. I called it in.
Webcam? Huh. What kind of webcam?
Just a webcam, officer.
What were you doing on that webcam?
Watching. Then this guy attacked her.
Okay. And you say that was the guy?
That's him.
2 knives and a broken dagger. A comedy of the absurd. One stabs and one laughs at the other. Clever blood drawn meekly on vice. Defloration of ecstasy. The wolf's cry in a barren wilderness. A cruel transmutation of love. Secrets brushed under the rug. A staggering volume of murder. A strychnine ego burst. Serpentine longing snuffed out. And a karmic slap to the face. Mouthful of dust. A great nothing in exchange. Sucked dry, the grand illusion, vacant glories on tentative egos, time and space mocked, the burden of exaltation. Welcome to the Terror Dome. The cosmic joke is on you. A delicately tragic painting, framed perfectly in a single, tiny box.
MINDRAKER. Background, anger. Chapter 8. Verdict of Man.
When I was a small child, I went down to the river. I sat there for a long time, watching the creatures dart about and mope, running my hands and feet through the cool water. God sat across from me on the other side of the river. I was about 6 years old at the time, and someone else completely. So was he. It was a lovely day. The sun was gentle and kind, hugging me with a comforting breeze. It was bright out. It took a hand to shade the light from my eyes, but on the other side, he never raised a hand or cast a shadow. That's how I knew his name. The river was deep, and I was struck with an innocent bravery and waded out too far. My foot slipped on the drop-off, and the water swept me away. I cried out, splashing and flailing, the current pushing me down, filling my lungs. And then I felt two powerful hands around me, and suddenly I was in his arms, safely above the danger below. Without a word, with only a smile, God returned me to my side of the waterline. After watching him walk calmly back to his side, I turned and ran home to the safety of my mother's arms. I lived on that bank for the rest of my lifetime, and when I was old and weak, I attempted to cross the waters with a bundle of kindling on my back. Once again, my foot slipped at the drop-off, and I was swept away. But this time, God was not there to save me, and I perished beneath the unforgiving current. Viral penetration, visions of the ghost stream. I've heard the voices calling, they know my name, all of the many names. I sit in the coffee shop where we met, the same place I received my mission briefs. One of those targets was her, Michelle, African American, age 33, average but attractive, single, never married. And now she is no more save a memory. A faded wisp of subconscious space in the collective sphere, taken in the violent throes of a universe without remorse. A raindrop swallowed by the ocean in spite, the essence that burns no more. Causality, collateral damage, scraps for the pigs of war, a distant echo of longing. Who converts the truth in a world with two meanings, both of them obtuse? What shape is reality? Behind the broken blinds, 2 steps, then none. A bad decision, a bated breath. Whole numbers and non-existence intertwined. The pounding skin of the war drums bellow.
Good afternoon, Mr. Maru.
Call me Maru, no mister.
Of course, Maru. On behalf of the agency, let me thank you for agreeing to meeting with me. Sorry I'm late. Hysterical nude man waving a gun in the middle of traffic. Invader driving, no doubt.
Yeah, can we get on with it? I have someplace to be.
Certainly. It's about your resignation.
I figured. What part of I quit would you like me to explain?
First off, my condolences. I understand there was a girl, one of your targets, who was killed recently by a member of the faction we've been after for some time now. You were fond of her. You said in your report she retained an almost total recall of your experience in her subconscious.
She did.
Sounds like she would have made an excellent recruit.
Doesn't matter now, does it? Look, what's this all about? I told you.
Yes, of course. Enough pleasantries. I'll get to it. I have a series of questions I need to ask you, if you don't mind.
What does it matter?
Are you currently under the influence of any consciousness other than your own?
Absolutely not.
Have you been compromised in any way? Is this decision a result of coercion or distress?
Distress for sure, but not the kind you're talking about. The decision is mine and mine alone.
I see. And what are your immediate plans upon discharge from the service?
Discharge? I resigned. I quit. You don't have any control over my exit from this war of yours. I shouldn't even be talking to you. I knew this was a bad idea.
Apologies, poor choice of words. These are standard questions, you understand. What are your immediate plans now that you've resigned from the service?
My plans, immediate or otherwise, are no one's concern but my own.
Do you plan to change loyalties now that you've resigned?
Change loyalties? What kind of question is that? If I was, would I tell you?
People are concerned, Mr. Maru. You must realize.
It's just Maru, and I'm done here. Interview over.
What will you do with the box?
So that's what this is about.
How will you judge us?
Okay, this...
I have children, Mr. Maru, ages 7 and 4. Would you judge them too? What could they have done?
I am not God, Mr. Daltrey. I didn't make the rules.
But you are his appointed judge. I fail to see the difference. Is there a higher court I might appeal to if I find your sentence not to my liking?
Yes, you're right. I see your point.
I have made mistakes, Mr. Maru. We all have. But in my heart, I know I am a good person. I am deserving of mercy, deserving of redemption.
Look, Daltrey.
I deserve to live, Mr. Maru. I am worthy of my life.
Assuage the truth, this killing field knife. Impenetrable veil of desire. Shallow dive in the deep end. Blood in the water.
Daltrey, I don't have a good answer for you, but just know that I understand, and it's not your fault.
Thank you. Thank you for hearing me out. I know you are a just man. Please, I'm begging you.
Am I?
Are you what?
Am I a just man? I mean, that really gets to the point of this meeting. You wanted to know the reason of my resignation, and that's just it. I don't know anymore if I can say with any veracity that I am a just man. If I can't look myself in the mirror and say that I am, then what right do I have to pass judgment on anyone?
But the Lord chose you.
Maybe. Maybe you're right, Daltrey. But I don't feel special. I hope that answers your question. Pleasure speaking with you.
Love and vengeance walk side by side. Two legs of the human condition. Forgiveness and retribution. Footsteps in the sand. I hear a voice calling out. The voices, always calling, always crying out. The only heed is my own. I dreamt the dream of the self. And when I woke, I disappeared. Faded vapor of the ego ghost. The facade of lies. Now I tread a lonely and desperate path. The only one I've ever known. An absent thought in darkness, illuminated now, shocked to wake in the light of knowledge, made whole in the sun. Someone bent the numbers, someone shaved the spread. The fix was in, redemption none. The game was forfeit before it ever begun. I am not the same without her, and yet I barely knew her. Or had I always known and simply forgotten? Two Michelles, two sides of the same celestial body, the light and the darkness, anima purge. For the first time, I grasped the silhouette of another existence, the many faces on the moor, faded contour of collective identity. I am the lamb, the redeemer, executioner, unfaithful lover, lawgiver, hater, the unjust zealot with his eyes gouged out. I thread the hangman's noose and hang the hangman with his pride. Omnipotent hypocrite, Heraclitus bride, twin shadows on the dark ocean, keeper of the faith, holy man presiding over a congregation of lies. There is no truth. The concept is a lie. There is only struggle and confusion, confrontation and goodbyes. Michelle, my Michelle, African-American female, age 33, average but attractive, single, never married. The common suture, a Kama Sutra pose. Sometimes the signal goes dark, rain falling gently on the water. I am my own spotter now, vengeful specter, scales of justice in my right. I take the image of their lair from the subconscious of my former target, Johnny, Asian male, early 40s, identifying scar on his left cheek, shoulder-length hair with slight graying, twice divorced, 2 felony drug convictions with time served, an office in the back of an auto body shop, plans being made, conspiracy conceived. Johnny's machinations met a violent end at the word, my word, death mantra, existence revoked. At the time, he was working with my current target, Carl, white male, 45, medium build, goatee, weak chin, single, twice divorced, murderer of Michelle. With the faint image of the garage's location fixed in my mind, I spend 3 days driving the forgotten streets of an industrial memory on the east side of Los Angeles, casing gas stations, warehouses, junkyards, and auto zones in search of a match. In the end, I find it tucked away in the high 100s, an exact match to Johnny's subconscious echo. I stake out the garage for 2 days, and on the second, he appears in the humid embrace of the pensive night, just as I had expected. A vehicle pulls up on the other side of the shop, just out of view. As it pulls away, Carl's figure steps out from the darkness to let himself into the garage. Safe house revealed, security no more, target in flesh, material culprit in the corporal mound, dead man walking. Hands of the midnight clock, tap, tap, tapping on the minutes, beating them into hours. The night passes over, angel of death reaping its newborn to frail. I watch him leave in the June gloom early the next morning before the first workers arrive at the shop. The negative shape of the gray Toyota Camry appears to ferret him off to whatever sinkhole he slithers into in the daylight hours. The day wheels by, and when the night creeps up again, the same Camry pulls up, driver out of view. A figure slides out of the passenger side door and steps quickly toward the garage. I make out Carl's guilty contour in the moonlight as the drop car races out of sight. Navigate this dark landscape, muckraker of the soul, positive position, mind blade rising. The runner in the boardroom, Christ charm emblazoned. Ring out the truth. Salvation is an exclusive club. Penance is for the willing. Germination of deceit, a crime with no purpose. Actions taken, no soul shuddered. Desecration of unity. Rally the cry. Rejoice, for the judgment of the Lord has come at last.
How much longer are we doing this? I don't like living this way. I did what you wanted me to do, just the way you said. Now you gotta keep your end of the deal. No more excuses, Michelle. You promised me you'd get me out of the country if I did the job. Excuses, Michelle. All I hear are excuses. No more excuses. Just get me out. Hello, Michelle? Did I lose you? Fuck! She hung up on me again. Hello? Somebody there? I'm letting you know right now I got a gun. You don't want to mess with me. I'm in a real shitty mood.
A distinct sadness when the flowers bloom on the corpse. Upsurge of the murder instinct. When the animal tastes blood, you put the animal down. Retribution by divine right. Left alone in your madness, a flame on the sun, caring yet indistinct. A familiar tune out of context. Meet me on the death plane. Take my hand. Let me ride.
What are you doing here? How'd you find me? Wait. Is this real? Are we in my head right now? But I'm awake. Yeah, I'm awake!
Wide awake, Carl. Both of us. Wide awake.
What are you gonna do with that wrench, man? Look, none of this was my idea. You know that. You want her. You want that bitch Michelle. I'll tell you where she's at.
Auspicious forces bleed the cake dry. Intern of deception, caterwaul and cry. The beads and the daisy chains strike. We kill the flower to stop the rose. Pure contempt, the pull of the black hole. Seasons born in doubt, the meddling skies. Nothing begat nothing. The turning of the key released the bread and wine, a feast of desperation. Manila envelope on my desk, the final mission. The blue man agrees to act as spotter one last time. Target, Michelle. My Michelle. Ma Belle, the only target that matters.
Well then, Mara, judge of man and God alike, you have quite a choice to make.
A tender repose, the trumpets calling, the inevitable mark. Behind the beautiful window, the scarred shadows wait. The decaying corpse of time, memory and suggestion gauge the fantasy of life. Less meaning than contemplation, the dead dog lying at the side of the road. A punishing gambit, this thing we call life. Thoughts coalescing give rise to justification, a fornicating playground with no regret. I alone am the judge, the butcher uncontested, a universe of one. I am the first and the last, progenitor, prognosticator, full of reason and scorn. The dreamers are many, but the mind is a unified field. Vengeance, on the other, is penance to the self. I set a chair in the middle of the room, place my phone on the table nearby. Vantage point, the eye in the mind. More info, an address. I Google map the location, a pin in the mind's eye, GPS psyche. I step to the closet and remove the box. The text arrives, target in REM state. I sit comfortably in the seat, place the box in my lap, close my eyes, think the word, think the target. The word becomes the target. Bend the mind cap back, launch your retribution. Material plane, a prison for souls. Solitary confinement with a few hours in the yard. Spirits rattling the bars. Beyond the toning bell and the iron forge, quiet meadows, shallow pools, an impulse and God's understanding. A naked passivity, splendor in the dark. The vulnerable tool in the questionable aisle. This hand in resolution, loneliness of the judge's seat. I find her mind, take hold, infiltration scream. A new reality forms around me, an infinite plane, the ground like reflective glass. She is waiting for me there, ready to meet the judge's gaze.
Murderer.
Betrayer.
So you've come for me then? To judge me like you did Caleb and Carl?
There will be other lives for them to work out their issues.
I see. Same goes for me, I assume.
Perhaps. Not necessarily.
Insaluganet!
I raise my hand and with a thought remove the words from her breath. I think what hurts the most is that you take me for a fool. Those words won't work on me, and I will not allow you to speak them in vain.
But I suppose you will. Go on then. Get it over with.
I didn't come to extinguish you. I came to talk.
So now you're working as defense for the accused?
Michelle, you seek to judge what you do not understand.
I see. So it's that, Maru, is it? The soldier. Judge, jury, and executioner. Just looking to get the last word, as usual.
This isn't a lover's spat! We're talking about the fate of the universe!
What's the difference?
At this point, nothing apparently. I open my palm and the box appears.
You brought it?
Yes.
So you've made a decision. I'm actually impressed. Whatever it is.
I know. You know I'm not good with confrontation. I step across our reflections to face her. Her eyes look away from mine. Her mouth opens to speak, but she holds her words. Her eyes look back up to mine. An infinite palisade, quarter of the moon strikes. This is not forever, just the turning of the wheel. Two souls in everspace, awaiting judgment from a ghost. Abandonment issues, the mystery of nothing. This is the end of cat and mouse. I take her hand and place the box in her palm, gently place the other hand on top. She trembles at the soft vibration.
What is this? What are you doing?
You said that when God transferred his power to me, I became the wielder of all his power. I looked into it. You were right.
The razors blossom. The key turns in kind. Windswept, the burning man's cloth. A traveler in the ocean's wake. 2 blind men watching from the shore. There is no destiny, only fate.
If God's power is mine, then mine is the power to transfer my judgment to another, just as he transferred his to me.
Maru.
It's yours now, to do with as you see fit.
Maru.
Choose wisely.
A vulnerable crush. Seas flood in around us. Senses bleed in a universal rush. The fetal canal, a passage through darkness to a new world. Fruit grown on the vine. There is no infinity, only now. I watch her face fade away. One reality replaces another. Back in my lonely room, sitting in the pilot's seat, I listen to the silence and wait for an answer.
Mindraker. Background, Anger. Starring Sean Schemmel. Featuring Gregory Abbey, Jason Burdine, Witten Frank, Rachel Confrancisco, Michael Roxy Johnson, Richard Kingston, Victoria May, John Martin, Vinnie Penner, Bree Piper, Noel Rodrigo, Jerry Schultz, and Zach Selwyn. With Tara Strand, Alex Emanuel, Ariel Hartman, Kit Quinn, Mervyn Cole, Alicia Castile, and Clark Crozer. Mindraker. Background Anger is a Spiral Opus audio production. Created, written, and produced by Roy Burdine. Co-produced by Sean Schemmel. Sound engineered and mixed by Mark Labib. Mindraker. Background Anger is copyright 2023 Roy Burdine. Mindraker will return.